Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Earnings Season. A wonderful earnings season. I don't even know what to call it. In a year, Christmas one, sipping on some sorrel. I'm here. I'm at RT Row, Randy Row.
And I'm Danai at H Danai.
And this is earnings.
We have a celebrity in the building.
There we go. Earnings season with our celebrity, friend of the show, one and only 5 Soleil, Ryan Strachan.
Big up. Good to be back.
We big up himself this week. We big up every week.
Yeah, we big up every week. Yeah.
Shoutouts to 5 Soleil. Mandatory.
So we have that big up, and I'll start also with a big up to Kalila, who Kalila have taken stock. Kalila have a couple of properties out there in terms of intellectual property. I like what she's doing. And she gave me some feedback. I love the feedback. There's some media feedback. First thing she tells me is, sometimes people don't know what you're talking about, to give them an intro. So that's the intro this week. For you who don't know, if it's your first episode ever, welcome. Hope you like the show. If you don't, give me some feedback on Twitter at earnings_season. Anyway, got that out of the way. What is this show about? We're talking stocks completely. Ryan is, I consider Ryan an expert. Inside joke.
Not that kind of
expert. Not that kind of expert, but Ryan knows his stuff. Not a joke at this thing. I believe personally that I say it all the time that I actually think he might be better than me at stocks because he does what I do and he hasn't been doing it that long, been doing it for like 2 years. And I am me, who I like to think I'm pretty good. I know stocks. Yeah, that's our intro. And people who know Ryan know that it's going to be a good episode. It's a long episode we're going to review and we're talking about a whole heap of stuff because we haven't heard from Ryan in a while.
It's been a while.
Cheers, guys.
He's been busy, man.
Cheers. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk. Let's talk earnings season at Money Talk. Ryan, and I should start again. Boy, everything at the start. Congrats.
Oh, yes.
To Ryan Strachan. Ryan Strachan.
I've been busy, man.
President of G2K.
Thank you.
Congrats, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, man. People. I like to add little elements into how people understand why things matter to me, right? Born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. We always hear a whole heap of things about politics. Like, yo, they're not doing it right for the young people going. Young people not leave business. We've always heard that. 2019, somebody who I know I consider a financial star, does not have to be in any other space other than the spaces he chooses to be, and he can spend him time making money, and he chose to do this. So before everybody cuss me off and call me a laborer, I say it's a laborer podcast. I don't know what you're saying, but here's what I know. I'm proud that my brethren, who's a young person who could go into money, chose to take some time and dedicate to growing the country.
Definitely.
So big up that, and I hope more of us do that. For any party, I hope somebody does it for the other party also.
Whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, a better country means more money for everybody, right? So I can't say anything bad about that. Right?
That's right.
Who doesn't want a little more money?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And a better economy. So let us all put our best in to try and improve things for everybody.
That's what I want to hear, because I said to Pat, all right, I like what Ryan just said there about that and the fact that everybody wins it. And one of my congratulatory messages to him was to say that congrats. Heavy's the head now. There's no dropping it. I tell people this, right? Ryan is my brethren. But if Ryan, he's not in government. He's not a government officer. But Ryan, assuming he ever gets to government, is Ryan the person who needs to make sure our money run right?
Definitely.
And I like that somebody who I know and trust, I have senses in there. So that's what I'm happy about.
Big up. Thank you. I'll do my best.
Yeah, I hope so, or else.
Over good team. But I know I can rely on you for honesty and feedback. So
you're goddamn right.
That's everything.
Private and public, no
Absolutely,
problem.
no doubt.
Outside of that, I want to give a special big up to, we always big up BAM Productions. We always big up, the Jamaica Podcast Network. So special big up to Coach Pagan, who has kindly donated some of his Christmas sorrel to us.
Yes.
And
some rum, right?
And some rum.
It will be a long chat tonight.
It's going to be a good chat, guys. Yeah, if you guys don't ever hear this, or if you're only hearing this in my car and I'm sitting beside and I say, yo, this episode I couldn't put out, then you know. But if you're hearing this, things went well, or BAM did a really good job editing. So thank you, Coach Pagan, and thank you, Rum. And let's go. Let's get into it. So, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
What's up, sir? It's been a while. It's been too long.
It's been like 2.5 months.
Yeah, but podcast years.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's ages. Like, I've just been listening, and I'm a fan of the show, so I'm listening to all the various guests and what they have to say, and just seeing things develop and coming here having a drink. But no, it's. I've been up to a lot of work. I don't know when. I was actually thinking about it on the way up. I think last time I was here, it was October, and then I had reason to be overseas trying to pursue a few deals, and came back. Obviously became G2K president, so I took on another job.
2 jobs.
You know what I mean?
Jamaican.
And then trying to close off the year, because we had a good year. You know, we're ahead of our numbers, my department anyway.
You can say that?
Yeah.
Or we'll have to edit that out.
He's not saying any numbers.
Yeah, I can say it. We're ahead of our numbers.
That? Big up GK Capital.
Yeah, big up, we're ahead. So we've had a good run is trying to now plot and see how we can do it again for 2020. But separate and apart from that, just trying to end the year strong. You never want to kill momentum, you know. And I still think there's so many opportunities that people want to be exposed to. And funny story, we did a nice trade yesterday. So if anybody looks and sees extraordinary volumes in anyone's stock, they know, it's me. But you know, I won't say which stock.
You want to say which company, sir?
No.
All right, the big deals going through. All right, let me start where you start. You say you listen to the podcast. I like that you're a fan, sir. I'm also a fan of the podcast. And if you know, but I really am a huge fan of the podcast.
That's good. It's good to know.
I'm not even joking. I listen to it as a fan.
Because
it has to be on top. It has to be good. It has to be. I have to enjoy listening to it. Or it don't make sense to do it.
Definitely. So I found like the episode with Khalila helpful when you guys were talking about real estate.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and it was very enlightening. Granted, I share the view, but it's not many times you hear people articulate something like that in such a clear, concise way.
Yes,
that was one of my favorite episodes.
Like that. I like that. Big up Khalila.
That's her strength, where she brings a lot of niche topics to the general public where they understand it, bring to their level.
Yeah, man. In fact, her tagline, she said, I don't get it wrong. I think she said, I make investing simple. I make investing easy. I make investing easy.
Where we go. It's been working, as everybody loves.
Oh, that's cool. No, it's great because you know what? And what's actually happening, and I think for many of us, it's the first time we're seeing it. We actually have an ecosystem developing. So now you have companies going public a lot more than before. I was saying to some young guys who came to see me that 15 years ago you had one IPO, Supreme Ventures.
Supreme Ventures, yeah.
Then you probably had Mayberry a year later, and those are two big occasions.
Yes, because there was
nothing.
There was nothing.
It was like a desert. There was nothing.
Yeah.
And before that, when you heard the IPOs, there were some in the 90s.
I remember JMB's IPO.
That's about 04 around that time. 02. It's around that 2001, 2002. But it's not like now where you have one a month, two a month.
Yeah, multiples. Now you have people speculating that this can't drop because nobody know buck up on the market when XYZ is coming out there.
So you have an ecosystem being created. So now you have companies going public. You have young people taking an interest in the stock market. So you have like
a whole heap of young people.
Stock trading clubs. Right? So it's inevitable that investor interest is going to continue to grow and the opportunities will follow. There's somewhere else that's going with that ecosystem point, I'll remember a bit later. But what has happened? The environment
meal pack?
No. It surrounded the whole.
The people talking about it, like Khalila and even earnings season.
There you go. Yeah. So as a result of the listings and the interest, have education being a thing, have podcasts being a thing, because now people want to hear about this thing they're interested in. So the market now has an audience, right? So you do the class with the other day and the room's full.
Yes.
15 years ago, that wasn't that. I mean, you never even had people casually talking about the stock market.
10 years ago, it's almost 10 years ago when 2020, 07, 2017 is more than 10 years
12
ago.
years.
12 years ago. When I was at Careers and I used to talk to people beside me about something, I say, try put something in the market. No, man, people weren't doing it. Yeah.
I know people telling you what I know.
Yeah. Literally the growth. Literally the growth. And it's regular people. That's how you know it's real growth.
A guy was doing some work. I can't say my plumber because I don't really have that many issues. But that gentleman's doing some work in my house, plumbing, and his wife is my housekeeper, and she said to me she get this dividend check stub and she don't know what to do with it. So I said, well, firstly, that's your withholding tax certificate. You lodge a check because she's like, I don't know what to do with this. Why are they sending checks to my house?
Oh, yeah. Because a lot of people don't know. Yeah.
She said, I never put the money in the bank. And she's like, Grace Candy's paying me? I said, you're a shareholder. It's your company. Exactly. It's your company. So when she sees like the annual report, CDs and all that come in the mail, it's a big eye-opening thing. And this is working class people. This is not a rich man's game. No. We're talking about the average Joe or Jane, regardless of age, stage, is now an investor. this is where we know are as a country.
Yeah.
Worlds away from where we were 10 years ago.
Yep.
When you'd have an IPO and it was 50 people or 100 people. No, you're talking 1,000. In fact, you have 1,000, it's small.
I bet at that time, there was actually a worry, will this IPO be filled?
Sure.
And
No doubt.
I'll just drop it, and if it's good enough, it's gone.
No, there's more cash than assets. So again, I mean, just coming up here as saying, at some point, you may even have an ETF for a neighborhood, like just real estate in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like guys doing derivatives based on this an asset class because there's so much cash that people need to place it.
Yeah. Crazy.
You know what I mean? Then the options and all that will be inevitable. It has to happen.
And it's at every level, because like that's a top level of money. I like to bring it down to the ground. There's people who broke and take bus to go home. Specifically, I think I want specific person take bus to go home to Spanish Town every day. And they put 50 grand, their savings that they saved over all of 2018 and part of 2019 into Wigton.
Yeah.
Happy
Cash
now.
out at 100 grand.
Yeah.
That is not light. Nope. Because the 50 grand took them a year to save.
Yeah.
And the cash out in how
And
long?
cash out 100 grand. When the first time it broke $1,
Yeah.
she sold.
And this person was still saving.
Yeah,
And
no,
imagine-
still, yeah. It's just part of her.
Right.
It's
So
just part of
still,
her.
so there's still a savings, but then now the original investment has grown.
Yeah.
Well, she put in mail pack.
Well, I mean, that's up
So it grew again.
16% already.
They grow again.
Ooh.
Yeah. That sounds like
Yeah.
creating wealth.
Regular,
Yeah.
regular woman. Regular woman.
Regular.
Who tell me every day so she don't know nothing about the stock market. And say, I know people who haven't done the trades you've done all year. You've only done 2, but it's 2 fire trades. You don't need a lot. You just need to do it well. Yeah, man.
There you go.
The change to regular people is amazing.
Yep.
And I respect that mindset. And you know why? Because so many times, she's soon going to have rich people's problems. So we'll get to
Yep.
that in a second. But I respect the mindset where people are willing to build and, start. But the next level for me is when people actually realize that, they can become really wealthy doing this. This is not just about trying to invest sufficiently to be able to pay down on a house. This
Yeah.
is investing sufficiently to be able to buy 4 houses
Yep.
cash if
Yep.
you so desire,
Yep.
or to build an apartment complex
Yep.
out of an investment seed that perhaps wasn't that much.
Yep.
Can remember 50 grand in JSE stock itself 6 years ago is 2.5 million now, if not more.
Say that again, because people don't believe it. 50,000
Gs.
Jamaican dollars.
Yeah, in 2013
Yes, sir.
is 2.5 mil now, if not more.
Yes, sir.
Right.
5,000 odd % growth.
Easy.
Yep.
Easy, but then you see, people will say, well, it gone $1 million, so I can take it now and go pay it on a house. But then it's kind of like, well, what could that million? So if that was $1 million place, then
Exactly.
it's
Imagine what
50
you do
million now,
Yeah.
Yep.
So what somebody do with $50 million bucks?
Yeah. Well, I can
Liquid, right? I mean,
Imagine the cars you can make with 50 million
yeah.
in your hand.
imagine the things you can do. We touched on it last week when I said that I can't spend money heavily, but it's not really true. What I can do is I can't cash out certain things heavily.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to do it, but I don't need to because
Yeah.
you can borrow against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of my mentors said to me that, you kind of get to the point where you just spend your salary because you can't, as Danai loves to say, he's out earned his salary in his investment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. December, you did that this month yet, or you don't get paid
so
this month
I
yet?
don't get paid this month yet, but November was great.
yeah.
You already beat December
Oh,
pay
you
from
know that,
November.
yeah.
I know.
From-
Yeah.
from
But tell the
Wiggle.
people, bossy with it and done.
but that's everything. That's everything the way I see it, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the kind of liberation one can get from investing. Because think about it. What's the alternative? You put the cash under your mattress. Your house can burn down. Somebody can thief it.
Yep.
Can
All
dry
kinds of
rot.
things can
All kind of things can happen, right? I have money. Well, I shouldn't say where it is, but he got to it and it gets a little crispy now, right? So I have to use it. The fact of the matter is, a lot of the things we think does not have risk has a lot of it. It's just not the kind of risk where you see it up front. I prefer to deal with the risk up front.
Yes, I like risk that is identifying itself as risk, and people usually call it risky, and then they escape the risk by going into something that is probably even more riskier, but you don't know, you don't hear it because nobody calls it
knows it.
risky.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct, because it's not conventional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people don't realize that buying into an IPO they don't like because they want to flip it is actually riskier than me buying into an IPO I'd want to hold for 10 years.
Yeah, yes. Tell them.
Right?
tell
Because
them,
when I hold something, if I'm willing to hold something from 10 years, so if I'm 37 now and I'm saying I'm prepared to hold this thing till I'm 47, truth be told, I could lock off my TV and not watch business news for 5 years, 10 years.
And let's go in.
And go on my business.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
You also know the accidental millionaires, the people who go,
How
somebody
much
tell me last week, I'm not going to call the name, but somebody tell me, right? Them going through, them and them father, stock certificates. They find like old LOJ certificates.
Ryan was a host, so he knows those stories. You see a lot of that come in, like somebody probably inherited and they go through grandma stuff and grandma own how much in this company?
But it's not in a lot because they don't know. They're like, it's just 40,
Yeah,
it's just
they
50,000
never know.
LOJ shares.
Exactly.
I say how many stocks bits have happened since then.
Yes.
And those are surgical shares.
Yeah.
Somebody text me and say it's just, them say, it's not a whole heap. It's just 35,000 NCB shares.
Oh, mercy.
No clue.
No way.
I said, but it wasn't that. Those weren't stock certificates. She knew, but she knew she bought it, and she said, "Oh, it's 35,000." She bought it back when it was must be $6 or $7.
Happy now.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I said to people that many times wealth is created when you actually forget about it. But this stock, the thing where I see us going now, this stock wealth creation thing is going to be new for a lot of people.
It's new for a lot of people.
And it's going to be new because a lot of times people, you'll hear people say, wealth is associated with output, right? Meaning people expect to work for their money. Work.
But it's not.
Right? But many times you can earn money through working or through ownership. Oh no, it's operations and ownership, right? So many times people are used for wealth coming from operations. And so so people expect that they should own and operate. And I'm trying to tell people that you can own and operate. You can operate, which is like what many of us do in our jobs.
Yep.
Or you can just own. And not
Operate.
operate.
Money.
And trust those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the CEO of the company could have less shares than you, and you report to him.
Likely does if
Right?
you check the JSC's website.
You report to him, but then if you think about it, in a vote, you have much more say than that
him.
person.
Yep.
Exactly.
No, that to me is a grand leveler in all of this.
Huge leveler.
You know what I mean?
Huge leveler.
Because suppose you bought your shares at $1 and it gets to 20, and the CEO who makes gazillions more says he wants to buy at 20. He has to use a much greater percentage of his earnings to probably 20 times if you bought significantly at 1
Yep.
to try and catch you.
Yeah.
Right?
And you always have more talk.
And you probably never need to buy no more. You say, well, you buying this whole thing. You should have been buying this years. What do you know?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That kind of power. Yep.
That is very exciting to me. I feel like it's like a code cracked. And when I see people say they're going to sell their stuff, because, yeah, man, I want to buy his house now. And I say, okay, fine, but you need it? No, but it's a thing to do. I'm like, yeah, but the thing to do never made the people telling you what to do rich.
Say that again,
Right?
right?
The things that people are telling you to do because it seemingly work for them. Really didn't work because they're not rich.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or you getting advice from somebody that's not the level where you want to be.
No. What would you? I mean,
Like, I don't look up to this person, but he's going to tell me what to do.
you don't want this person's life.
Yeah.
Facts.
Fair?
Big facts. I
You
don't
don't
want
want
this
that.
person's life. Why am I going to follow their advice?
Why? What's the point of that? I mean, it's like
they're read it in a book somewhere, I guess.
I just don't. I mean, I understand it, but I think that's a new frontier that a lot of people have to be exposed. And I'm sure people listening know, but like, yeah, Ryan, you're crazy, whatever. They're going to be like, well, I'm going to sell my own and I'm going to pay on a house or whatever, right? Well, I was with a guy yesterday, 2 days ago, very wealthy person. If I say a name, everybody would know it's who, but this individual has been, just buying up land around his business forever. But then, to my surprise, I didn't even know this. He lived in his neighborhood for more than 20 years.
Wow.
Never moved. And then he was like, let's just say for argument's sake, and he was able to buy like 3 acres in Cherry Garden, like 3 years ago. Ooh. Having lived in, not Cherry Garden, but, it's comparable area. Having lived in one place like 25, 30, 40 years. Despite the fact his business, he was just buying all the land around it forever.
Yeah.
Wow. Quietly.
So in other words, but he's very wealthy. But the point is that his focus was less on where he lived, which was a nice area. He just bought it in the 60s or 70s. But he's buying all this for his business.
Yeah.
And you look into some of these top 100 lists, his name is there. And he runs one of the biggest businesses, owns one of the biggest businesses in this country.
Yeah, I feel like I know.
But he's not moving house. He's not moving house every week.
True.
He's not moving house. He's not upgrading, like stepping up this ladder every couple of years. No, he's like, well, I've made my purchase there. I'm comfortable. Let's go make some money.
Yeah.
It's just an asset sitting on.
He's not trying to make money from his house. And that's kind of where I think the narrative gets a little distorted. You know?
Oh, in terms of what to do after
what
a certain level.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's a conversation that I have had, but I don't know how to have it on a podcast. And it's a different kind of thing because I don't want to alienate some people. And in some things, a lot of it for me, I'll confess, is personal.
Sure.
Because I have more money now than I have had in my entire life.
Same.
And I made a point about at a certain point, you just start spending your salary. And even at my level, when I was penny pinching my salary hard because I had no money beyond what I get paid every month. Now, I find the amount of my salary that I spend and not to worry about so much more. I'm making more now, but to spend it isn't an issue because I know I have money doing something somewhere else. So if I have a spend coming on, then it can come from my salary versus what I have in savings and start scratch my head.
Yeah.
Do you know people I think people need to realize how risky, and if you're the average Jamaican, people need to realize how risky relying on their salary and savings is. A lot of people don't really realize that.
Exactly.
So, when I was younger, I used to like every so often have a U.S. credit card, but I used to love to shop, right? So I'd buy stuff all the time. I remember, so I used to invest small amounts. I remember I bought Lasco, I remember years ago, like 20 grand, 40 grand is what I had, right? I became like 300 or whatever, and I had a little credit card debt, and I paid it off because I thought my investments was really just good for that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Just to keep yourself out of debt and all that. But then you realize, then I don't know what happened, and then it must have been being around Donovan, and I was like, you actually can become wealthy doing this. Just take this thing serious.
Well, that's somebody who can show you that, right? You want us to beat that, by the way?
Well, not saying Donovan. Who? There's Donovans all over.
That's cool.
So, again, being around him, I was like, you can actually do this and do well. Right? So then I was like, okay, well, so then now, fine, okay, because if you make a, whatever, 100,000 or whatever it is, even if it's $1 million a month, ideally, let's say you should try and save 10%. But let's think about the average person who may make $1 million a month. Because it may be a high bar, but let's just think about it. That person may say, well, they're not going to really try to live in certain areas because, yes, it may be responsible monetarily. But I'm going to say, I make $1 million, I have this corner office for living in a nice area. Fine, he's paying a mortgage of $300,000. Probably.
700 grand left.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, if you get $1 million a month, you not really get $1 million a month, you get in, let's say 700 grand.
No, you probably get like 650.
Tell us. 650.
I've heard.
So 650, roughly, all right, 300 grand.
It's 200 grand like mortgage.
All right, 200 grand mortgage. Yeah, that's a nice house. 3-bedroom if you're in the right place.
Yeah, executive, you probably have a, I don't know, BMW or a Benz or something. You're paying 120, 140.
All right, so you're going about 340, 350.
Right, so you're that age, and then your holidays come, you probably travel if you have a girlfriend, a wife. If you have a wife, it's worse. But if you have a girlfriend, you probably have.
Shout out to Mrs. Strachan.
No, I've actually earned more since being married.
I gather that that's good for you, but I don't find a wife yet.
Marriage been good. No, marriage been great. But then you have expenses. So then let's say if your friends may be like, yo, we need to go out and have a drink, or you want to fraternize with your corporate partners. Everything. So remember, you really can't afford to not have a job because you don't have independence of earning. Right?
Exactly.
So you could business don't go well, you're gone. So you're going lunch and you're going dinner, you're going drinks. You probably spend 100,000 a month entertainment, if not 200, 150.
Easily.
So then all of a sudden, $1 million becomes like 100 grand, but then holidays come up into travel, right?
Yeah.
First class ticket's not cheap.
Of course, and you can't put her back in
the
back of the plane.
So then it's like, okay, well then all of a sudden you're in credit card debt. and you're paying 40% per annum.
Yeah, and bearing this in mind, if you live that kind of lifestyle, let's bring it to Jamaica. If you live that kind of lifestyle, then you have a certain image already.
Of course.
So you're going to go to Miami and have a good time. Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go to New York and enjoy it. Or maybe you do Europe.
Or you go Europe.
Maybe you go Europe, you do it. It's nice. You spend that meal. The credit card
Easy
can handle
a meal.
it.
I can tell you
easily.
that.
Tell us.
No question. It's
No,
a million.
straight up. No, I've seen the Insta. I've seen the Instagram.
I don't show half anything on Insta, but
that's me too.
I'm telling you, but this is the thing. So many times people think they're doing really well, but they don't have anything. So and I'm telling you, that's a common scenario.
I'm going to pause to get everybody in some trouble now. That is why you need to stop the goddamn latte drinking.
You need to. That's why when.
But that's what I think he meant.
That's
why
when
Chris
said what he said, it was very. I think a lot of people missed it because they pick up this whole thing of the latte drinking and all of that, but then they lost the point of keeping up with the Joneses, being everywhere. I mean,
and managing the expenses.
Yes, manage everything. So like I went to. So I don't really, if I have a breakfast at CPJ or whatever, I'm really not there. Can't eat my food in my yard, right? If you have a breakfast at 2, it's easily $2,000. Now, if you do that every morning, you're talking $10,000 a week, just like that. So $40,000 a month,
Easily.
Breakfast
Easily.
every.
And you have to
day.
eat 3 meals a day.
Yeah, and you're buying lunch and all of that, right?
Maybe you don't buy lunch, so maybe you have a big breakfast, so you don't have lunch, but you have to have dinner.
Because remember, you have to fraternize the corporate
Exactly.
guys.
That's true.
But then you may want to pay for them because, of course, you don't want to.
You
like
can't
it's
be.
cheap.
Things can drop off.
So imagine you're doing all of that, but then you don't have anything in the background working for you.
That's true.
So you're working for every dollar, and you pray to God you get a Christmas bonus. So chances are you can't control because that's at the discretion of the company.
Yeah, the owner.
Right? The owner. Right?
The owner and CEO.
So then, 'cause I don't get Christmas bonus. So you know how my whole thing is set up. I've never have, and that's really by design.
I remember when you got, not Christmas bonus, you're right.
Not since I left Carreras.
No, but even then, we never get bonus. We never get Christmas
07.
bonus.
Well, I remember 07. Remember, I was on, my thing was.
Oh, your thing was a bit different. Yeah.
But long story short, all of those things pile up on persons. So you make $1 million, and you say, okay, well, I need to make $2 million. But when you go in stratosphere $2 million a month, you're probably talking 50 people in Jamaica. Or 100 at more. It's
On
not a lot of
paycheck?
people.
On paycheck, 50. Yeah.
No, lie. I shouldn't have said that. I should say who are salaried.
That's why I ask if it's salaried employee at 2 million is not that many.
It's a lot. It's not a lot of people getting a salary like that.
Salaried 2 million, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, performance or whatever different, but in terms of salary. So then you say, okay, so then you start saying, well, how on earth am I going to get from $1 million to 2?
Yeah, because the boss is not going to double your pay.
That's not happening. You may get a 10% every so often, but if you don't have your expenses straight, you're in problems. Worse yet, you don't have any stock.
Go back to the story. Remember, I said we go to New York, we went to Europe, so $1 million
Having
on the
a
card,
damn good time.
and the card half a pay.
Yeah.
The
card to banks love you. Banks just say, yo, how much more you want for your limit? Let me triple it. Have a great time. They probably hate me because I don't carry local limits. I don't carry local balances. Because 40% a year is just not practical. It's just not practical, and that's just me just being very honest. And
that's
then,
true.
But then where I want to dovetail from that towards briefly again is the fact of the matter is you can have all the assets in the world if you don't have cash, you're not wealthy.
Big facts. Big facts.
If you don't have cash, you're not wealthy.
Big facts. I can tell you that.
If you don't have cash, you're not wealthy. And I think one thing I can tell you, it's a lot easier to get your cash out of a liquid investment like stocks than even a private business.
Yep.
So you still have to go buy stock for the meaning inventory for the business.
The business have to run cash flow. You can't.
Have to run.
The million pull from the cash flow of the business cannot be to go in the boss pocket unless 10 million put on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it can't.
That's a lot of thing they know. It's a lot of bad business. A lot of people run into. So one year they same with a farm and everything goes well on the farm that year. And them say, "Well, I have 10 million in my hand, and I start with 1, and I'm gonna spend it."
Absolutely.
And then what happened next year? Where the money going to come from?
Exactly.
So how do you? I saw in the paper today an auction for somewhere. Nice, seeming nice place. Chances are that person. I mean, it could have been a health issue. It could have been overextending himself. Really, could have been anything. Because there's this virtue, that. Oh, you start make money, you must buy the nicest house possible.
Jamaican lie.
That's the virtue, But nobody's going to tell you. take $5 million if you need to borrow half and buy a stock that you really feel convicted about. Nobody's telling you to do that.
That risk it can go down.
No, it could go down. But then you say to yourself, I'd rather take on a risk for 30 years. Than a 5-year risk.
30 years where you must have
Every
that money
month.
coming in every month or else.
Over that 30 years, chances are parents, somebody's going to get sick, somebody's going to die, kids may be born, you may get married, you may get divorced.
Life happens.
Life
That money.
happens. But then you still have the bank coming to you being like, big man, I must say my thing due, you know.
You signed this contract that said,
Right.
you signed a contract that said that you would pay us
every month.
every month, $150,000.
30 years.
Yeah, for 30 years.
So find a mortgage broker skinning them teeth, no problem. But then what does that mean for your personal finances? What does that mean for your ability to buy into IPOs?
Is that what Kanye meant when he said slavery's a choice?
Whoa.
I'm sure they chose that one.
Yeah.
So people tie up themselves and don't even realize what they're doing.
Yes, because it seems good.
It seems great.
Yeah, last
Everybody's
episode I
doing
was
it.
joking with Dana. I tell him say him can call it a family home and live with him girlfriend, and just live at home with him parents and just call it a family home. I laugh and I say that's what Crofts. I laugh at him and I say, yo, that's what Crofts say. It sound like a Croft. I'm joking because the answer is you ignore what people tell you because those people aren't helping you pay your mortgage. Yeah, and I can tell you this. If you rush and go get the mortgage and everything broke,
Yep.
you can't take up the people them daughter and carry going in a broke house.
You can't.
That's right. That's
You
right.
can't. One of the things, again, you know, the main mentor said to me, just wait 7 years. He just said to me, just wait 7 years. So invest your money, don't sell nothing, and go do nothing too reckless. After 7 years, do what you want.
I like that. As in just invest.
Just
And
invest,
7 years.
and just invest 7 years, and he was like, he said you're going to get to the point where your salary, you don't need to, you can just live out of it and do what you want with it, and your stock will be fine. So at that point, borrow some against what you have and buy some more, and lever up. You know, you keep your debt to service to get the equity ratio at a reasonable number, and you build up. But you know the thing is, what I've come to realize, people really don't want to be stock owners. You know?
No, they don't. They like the hype of saying I bought a
They
stock
like
and
to
it
romanticize and talk about things. You know, they may even come to a seminar and all that, but in terms of putting their money in, they don't want.
They're not really doing that.
Oh, come on. Real money? No.
buy
They're not
companies,
doing
that's
it.
right,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can't.
I have friends, I have friends who I talked about money,
Yeah.
And I guess because I don't show money,
Yeah.
they assume that, I'm just talking. I will bring and pull aside and I said to him, say, well, I talked, you know him too, so I talked to you about him after you ran, I talked about when we were off here. But I'm not talking about him now, but I have friends who have spoken to, and they have money, and I say, yo, I do this thing, you have 5 mil, put 3 in this thing. Don't spend all your money, I don't have to brush and everything, but trust me. I'm not telling you to do what I do, right? So they have the impression that we sit on in front of the computer every single day. That's not how it goes. But put the 3 mil, and because you don't know anything, split the 3 mil and put it in 2 long term. Put in an NCB, and at the time, the actual advice I gave him was put it in NCB. And I think I said separate. I could have been wrong. At the time, I may have said separate, but this was some time ago. And said, no, him can't do that. I have a better deal. Him start a loans company with a friend with some of the money.
Oh, man.
Him buy a car to rent with another friend. And that was working well because the friend was doing the actual managing of it.
Yeah.
So him said, let me do one for myself. So him buy a second car that him must manage. 2 things they mash up. 2 cars mash up. A loans company mash up. Sorry. I think when he talked to him, he said, yo, he only had 1.2 left out. Right?
Damn.
Yeah, and he has a job and everything. And savings.
Thank God.
Yeah. And out of that 1.2 includes the money that he got for selling the cars he had
man.
bought
damn.
to get some
Oh,
back. Yeah,
man.
yeah. Because when he's running the business now,
Things
when you see
change.
4 million in the bank here in the business and the bill for that thing is just 200,000, I can afford it.
Yeah.
That happened 4 times for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened is car crash. And of course, couldn't say it was a rental because it wasn't insured as a rental.
So it,
And it hit another car. Nobody was hurt, seriously, but he had to replace that car
yeah.
out of pocket. And of course, replace his car and can't replace his car. So when him talked to him, saying that 1.2 left car, after him sell the scrap for parts. And then he was asked, by then, that was recent, meaning when him talked to me again, recent, 1.2 left. And know him here about IPOs all the time, so him asking why him can't put it in. And I guess maturity, not always having to say what you have to say. Like I didn't say it to him, but Jesus Christ, I was realizing probably gonna hear this. I'm so sorry, bro.
He won't know who
Yeah, he know himself. He know himself, yeah. But I'm not loading him up. But like I felt bad. I couldn't say it to him, but I felt bad. I was like, dog, if you did put the 1.2 in NCB when I tell you 3 years ago.
It'd be like 5,
Different story.
6.
Yeah, it'd be 3. No man, 3 years ago,
3 years.
Yeah, man.
Like
NCB was 40 something.
5 times. You'd be like 6. Yeah, 6.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have 6 million in the NCB stock.
With no
Plus, I'm gonna have 5 years worth of
dividends
coming to him.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Different
but instead of
story.
1.2, now granted, him still have something, him still have him job, him still have life, right?
Yeah.
But 5 mil gone and nothing to show for it.
These guys don't realize like they're actually people practicing what they preach until like they see some top 10 shareholder list come out and they're like, wait, these guys actually like liquid?
That's funny. Because guess who these two guys I'm on this podcast with are? They're gonna have to flat for saying what they say.
But
we know what we're talking about, yeah?
I mean, you put your money where your mouth is, you know. I think it's just we wouldn't be really here talking if it wasn't really something we live by. It's just no point in that.
Yeah.
And what people should understand, although I haven't seen a couple of episodes, I say what people should understand is that also that we can literally do exactly what we've done without talking.
Yeah, and be
we
quiet,
do not need to
We
speak.
don't need to say nothing.
Because the people who are doing it before us don't speak.
They don't say anything.
Yeah.
So now it's like at least we're trying to say to people, listen, this is what's possible. This is what's out there.
Yeah,
so
man.
it can be done.
I don't know if earnings season is for the people. I'll be honest, it's also kind of for me because I like podcasts and I think that Jamaica should have a financial podcast. So I did it. But earnings season really is for the people. People who do what Ryan do, we were joking before we started recording that Ryan is, I would say, maybe a group of 5 people in Jamaica that does what he does. None of the other 4 talk. They talk amongst themselves, they're their friends, but none of them speak publicly.
Correct.
Yeah.
They don't have social media, nothing.
All right. I don't have a whole heap of money, but I have a little change that I have made. And I made it in a way that I didn't know that it was. It's possible, but it's a different thing. It's like knowing say you can bake a cake, but then actually baking a cake and go, right, I can really bake a cake. And then you do it again, you do it again, you do it again, and you see say it really work, right? And I don't have to say nothing. Because I could stay quiet and bruff, you know. Yeah, best believe, you know. Yeah, I love a good bruff.
Yep.
But I feel like, I did it, and there's somebody else out there who drop out of college because they never have the money, and they want to know, and they might have 10 grand.
Yeah.
And they might hear this, I talk for them.
I mean, you reached me in that same way.
Yeah, that's true. Because I don't know Danai I know Danai because he know about me talking about stocks 2 years ago.
And then I'll jump on it.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm doing well
crazy.
for myself with it.
That's
and
crazy.
I was quiet that whole time doing well for myself.
It was just for me, what happened with me was, I chat about it sometime, but I just, last year, when I saw NCB at 140 Pro Long, I said, it was a Thanksgiving last year, and I just said, I didn't really expect what happened over next year to happen. But that's when I just made that thread about, I was going to Rotary, and I just said, it just weighed heavy on me to say to people, listen, we really don't know what we have here in Jamaica. You have 30-year, CEOs who've been in a particular business for 30 years, like a Patrick Hilton at the time. NCB's 140, the PE was like 9 or 10. The profits growing like 40% every year. Stagnant for a year, the price. And people are like just thinking about bank accounts. I'm like, guys, just staring in the face. A business like this, normally, if you're in the US, you'll be talking CEO will be like 25. Right? Because the risk would be factored in.
Yeah.
You're getting the best bank at a PE below the market. For heaven's sake, now is the time. You need to buy some.
I've always been saying NCB should be a high PE because
everybody,
nobody speaks about NCB without expecting growth. So why are we buying it lower than everybody else? Like, why is it the slow earn? Like,
well, I can tell you this.
you understand? Hey, it's going to be worth more in the future, so buy it higher.
I can tell you this. The execs who know what's up, especially with
Man,
NCB,
they've
been buying.
they're buying.
In the last year and a half, they've been buying.
They have been buying. You see the top 10 of NCB. You see what the people on the board have been doing. You see the changes. Those guys know what's up. So if you're thinking longer than 2-3 months, you need to be paying attention to that. Even I, who people expect to be all short term, and I do make my short plays. I don't joke around. People, what nobody's ever asked me is why. I say I still have 6,000 creamy shares. That's all I say, Ryan, let me buy. Because in the IPO, I'm confused to put 100 grand. It was all I had at the time. I put in there. And it fell. Good lesson. It fell. You remember that creamy actually fell below IPO for a long time.
It fell.
I know stocks, What is Ryan? Come make man, put man money,
I remember that.
Ray. Ray, boy, no thing, Ray. I look back on that and I won't say never, but I will never sell those 6,000 creamy shares. Because it means something to me. Because what happened is after it passed back IPO price, I sold it, but I kept 3,000 there. And I will never sell those 6,000 shares because it's a reminder to me.
Yeah.
Also, those 6 shares are worth about, 600% more now?
Or like
Not counting
something, I don't remember. Numbers.
Something like that, but
Somewhere
not counting the dividend.
And I would not recommend you sell them.
But you know,
soon.
I will never sell them. But
That's all I say about
that's
that.
all you say.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we just getting closer to you, you showed me a dashboard. And
Ah.
I saw the creamy in there, and I saw 300 odd percent. I was like, why you still have creamy around there? You're not
Yeah, man. I
and
leave
you
it
never
all the
answered me.
time.
That's why I said, why do you sell the creamy?
Yeah, no, it's there to remind me. It's always there to remind me that there's
It's
multiple
quite a while
ways.
ago.
329% as of
Yep.
today.
People would rather use a product than own it, you know.
Oh,
Where?
Yes.
Like, why? I
Weird.
don't know. Like that to me is a little strange.
Yeah, but I tell people it's a good tip. So if you listen, it's a good tip. You use something all the time. If it listed,
not
buy
own
it. Yeah, man.
They have a thing there. They have a everybody will walk into the business and say, yo, the man who owns make enough money. You know?
Money man, that man. See me in
And
the
like,
big car.
They see a long line and they figure out that, hey, everybody in this line is paying this guy.
Yeah.
We give them opportunity to own it. And
Bank line too long. And then in the bank line, you text me and tell me that NCB is too expensive at $200 per share.
Yep.
But you ask them, say the bank line too long. What I tell you?
and you know you're waiting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now the bank line long you're leaving. You're
Yeah.
waiting.
And that's one of the things that has to shift.
It's shifting slowly.
It is shifting.
And Jamaica is giving which I expect. I now have to admit to myself that, you need to expect this. Is resistance to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people, think about it. A year or two ago when IPO started getting more popular, I saw a lot of comments on Twitter, things like, and it's pre-Wigton, things like, IPO, I didn't even fish fry, everybody in
Yeah.
there, what them company I jump on for. I remember when Fontana had their IPO and young lady who I used to have a crush on, she tweeted that, Fontana, pharmacy, this IPO thing really watered down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And I actually said to her, it's $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Their revenue is
Yeah, but
over $1 billion.
You didn't even
It's
need to
not
go
a
there.
joke thing.
I mean, if you look at the US, CVS is publicly traded.
The US is... You know
CVS is publicly traded in the US. So, and CVS is like a
huge cornerstone chain.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just everywhere.
Yep.
And Fontana is a little further up the chain, but it's natural for pharmacists to go public.
It's a big deal for them to do it.
What's the-
They should.
There's no issue.
And then people don't get why I say, I want. The only company I think maybe I wouldn't list would be my own. And maybe I'd like to have the option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having the option. Ryan mentioned that the last time he was here, that one of the beauties of having the market is that it provides
An exit.
an exit
Yeah,
for
yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Or sometimes just a fund up opportunity.
Yup.
Because if there's no market there, your only option is to find a financier who will give you. Usually the banks. But if the bank say no, or if the bank just you don't
Yeah.
qualify, you're stuck.
And more options, less options, less money. Because if you have no other way of getting this money, then I'm going to short you.
Easy.
Yep.
Easy.
So
So yes, that's the paradigm shift that's happening. I mean, I know we've gone on this for a while, but it's important discussion, you know.
it is, yeah. I know people might be bored. So, but
Well,
it
or
is
they
a
may be
key.
like, what's the next? They'll be like, what's the next gem that's going to drop?
Yeah, next one. All right, well, we can jump straight
what's the
into it.
next
One
thing?
buy NCB. That was it. that was it. Hey, what do you think? Well, people, I again big up Kalila for her feedback. So I'm going to follow a little bit of following some format in here. So let's talk some
Let's do
stocks.
that.
Let's
Let's
talk some
start.
proper stocks. So we
Let's
haven't
start.
spoken in a while. You have a company you want to start with first, or you want to go with the?
What been buying?
No, well, I gonna start at the top of the list.
Oh,
you know.
let's do it. And we analyze some numbers. Listen,
Yeah,
I mean,
some quick, some slow. See what's up.
Sure.
138 student living. How you feel?
love it.
Love it. Why?
Great company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that weird way. You said what you thought was Scotia.
No,
I
it's
don't like
traded
that.
a lot this week. It's good.
Yeah, it has traded a lot. It has traded a lot
Yeah,
this
it's
week.
been-
It has traded a lot
it's
this week.
active company.
Interesting thing.
Yeah.
Then I give you a
Look at the
130.
numbers, look on the change.
Let me tell you something. No, I like it in terms of, and I'm going to tell you why. So, I had a reason to analyze it about a year ago. At the time, there was a whole UA issue.
Yes, sir. Clear it up for people. They had some issue
That
collecting
issue with the concession agreement in
because it
terms of
says that
they should like guarantee
UE is
occupancy
guaranteeing
at
them
90%.
a certain exactly, and if they don't,
Right.
UE has
Then
to actually
they have to
pay
pay
them
them.
up
That's
to
what we
the
liked
level.
about. That's what me and Randy liked about it.
Yeah, so we analyzed it 2 years ago, a year ago.
We love that about it.
Big
We
up man
were
like
buying it at the
Alex.
So
What's
the
Alex
mechanism,
at?
the mechanism as
Alex the overlord. on Twitter.
There we go.
Alex
Kinda
Overlord.
Yeah, man.
Big
So
up
we were
Alex.
doing that, and Alex was giving me some pressure, which I like. He was questioning me. Long time Alex won't talk to. Anyway, go on.
You
talk.
know, Alex. The mechanism, I think, was there should be public relative. I think they were to pay a bill for them rather than give them cash in hand.
Aha,
If it's a
okay.
utility bill or
But the
something.
point
Whatever it
is
was.
that the compensation should match at least 90%.
Exactly,
The difference
90%.
between where they are.
The
yeah.
thing is, after a year to 2 years, the tower would be at 90% plus anyway.
On its
Because
own.
it would be in the whole
UE
inventory
system.
of rooms available.
Yeah.
Because of the UE issue, though, or the issue with their counterpart that was still up in the air, not saying anybody's at blame, just saying there was just a difference of opinion. You had them carrying a receivable and, you know, there may have been revenue shortfalls, whatever. When I ran the numbers in terms of it operating optimally, because one thing a lot of people miss is short-term rentals started to actually run down the ordinary monthly rentals from UE, because whereas they'd rent it for $50,000 a month to a UE student, short-term rental is $80 to $90 a night.
All right, hold on. So you're saying, sir,
I'm saying.
if I can understand correctly, because a lot of people don't know that, because people don't know what the company actually does for money. They actually do short-term rentals when people aren't in the building. So you can
No, they have
actually
a block. They have a block for short-term rentals.
Airbnb,
they have a
people
set,
coming in for conferences.
like a church group or a sports
Other
team.
schools also from the region coming in.
Sports team, you know, you pay, because remember, there's no, if you look at it, there's no days in that kind of low, relatively, you know, mid to lower end occupation. Now here you have Airbnb, fine, but you don't. If you go to Pegasus, you pay more. And that
Yeah.
Spanish course is that 110, 120.
AC
up to
hotel might be a
200.
little
AC's
down, but
AC's
still pretty
higher.
nice. Yeah, AC's higher than Pegasus.
AC's up there.
Well, it should be. It's a
AC's
nice
up there.
place.
So
Yeah.
so that 80, that budget, you know, thing isn't there. So
Yeah.
they meet that, and it's a secure environment, and it's a nice accommodation. So that's why short-term rental actually offsets any gaps. Really and truly, they're doing the revenue that they should have been doing with 3 towers with 2 because of short-term rental that was not in the original projection. Long story short, based on my initial analysis a year ago, it was a $9 stock. A dividend yield of 12% at $4.60. So when is that? $3.50.
It's at 380 today, December 12th. So
It'll go
people
back
know when
up,
we
but-
recorded this, but yeah.
Yeah, it was is that 380? Well, that's public. You can
Yeah.
understand. So at 380, the dividend yield potentially at $9 even higher, because remember the intention is to pay out 80+% of net profits,
Yep.
and that's like a cycle. So the key is to try and get in early.
And currently we're looking on them. I just dropped some numbers for the people who haven't looked at. Their year ended the 30th of September.
Yep.
Revenue was 373 mil Jamaican
For the quarter.
for the quarter, correct.
Right.
And the 12 months was 1.05 bill.
How long has it been around?
What are we talking?
4
2
years? 3
4
years?
years? Something like that.
So you go from 0 to a bill in 4 years.
in 4 years with a guarantee that if your occupancy falls below 90%,
Yep.
there's some question around the legality of that contract.
Yeah, and I'm not a lawyer, so you know that.
You know,
But
yeah,
they
cool.
they all agreed and signed. So it sounds like they're moving towards a conclusion.
Because nobody
Yeah,
really
something
wants
like
a fight.
No.
Yeah, true,
Yeah,
true.
There's
Only
no
the
time for
lawyers.
fights in business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big up the lawyers.
Lawyers win every time, but
Yeah,
you know,
big up lawyers. Big up people like Steph.
Yeah, exactly. Big up, Steph.
Uh,
I like it though. I think it's a hidden gem. I just don't know if volumes become available regularly. So and I
for the
was-
heavier buyers, true.
for the
yeah.
heavier
For the heavier buyers,
I mean, I
yeah.
have a small piece of myself and try to get a little more, but I think where the opportunity presents itself, people should look to it. The only problem is those opportunities may not come up, but they need to build a third tower because their projections includes a third tower, and they may expand outside of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Because
Saint
UE is
Kitts.
across the region.
Yeah, St. Kitts was a name, and remember the whole thing for them was, what's it? Student, like they wanted overseas students. That a term. It's
Yeah,
not
I
student
remember something
tourism,
like that.
but it's like they wanted American students.
I know you're talking. I think
Yeah,
where
man,
American
exactly.
students come and
To
stay
come
here
into
for a
UAE.
semester or
exchange
two.
program.
Exchange program,
Exactly.
correct.
So
yeah.
that was a big part of their projection. But short-term rental offset all that. So
I really like
good
that.
business. I like that.
Net profit 12 months. Last year, the year that ended the 30th of September 2019, they made 11.8 million Jamaican in profit versus the year before there was a 16.2 million loss.
And they paid out 50 million, I think, to settle a lawsuit.
Yeah.
but they're still.
What was the quarter like though?
The quarter
quarter-
was
I think
even
quarter-
ahead.
think
That's the part
this
that
quarter
people
is
pay
strong.
attention
Because
to.
they had challenges, I think. So the quarter's like 70 million, right?
72.2.
Yeah, so it would have been
Yeah.
like 120 something on 370 something, but the legal thing was. So really and truly, when I look at that, I haven't seen their full potential yet.
There we go.
So I
And
want to get it before that's
before
clear.
exactly,
Yeah.
getting
I
from early.
I
That's
don't,
the aim. You
yeah,
don't
I don't really want to
everybody
wait
else.
till it's all clear and then because they know everybody run it down. It's a
Yeah,
problem.
you need to be ahead of the curve if you're
Yeah,
serious about
exactly.
investing. Yo, people, if you're hearing this, well, you're hearing this at this point that you're hearing this, you're 1 week away from Christmas and you get an early gift. Thank Ryan Strachan.
Big up.
Yeah.
Buy me a drink.
Yeah, there we go. You get people buying you drinks a lot?
No.
I get people offering to do it, but they don't actually
They
follow
don't.
through.
I don't know. Like I don't know if people see me out and don't want to come say hi or whatever. But it never.
That happens to me sometimes. Or sometimes I get
Yeah.
people staring at me weird and I wonder if like, oh, do you know me or whatever. People, if you know me, you want to come and say hi. I'm
Come say
always
hi,
ready
man.
to say hi.
Yeah,
Even
it's
if I look
cool.
like my vex.
Please.
Yeah, man.
I have a dog picture for my Twitter.
Yeah, so nobody don't know you. And I smart.
It is saving me.
Yeah. Well, Bam, I'm sure have some promo with your face out there, so we'll see what happens there. But 138 SL, we like it. That's how you feel.
So I remember looking at the recent numbers, and I like something about it. I even asked in the group, "Is this the turnaround?" Which is me thinking the turnaround some bit right now because
Yeah.
last year was a really big.
It was a rough year for them.
And then they're coming into money this year, so looking good to me.
They said that the concession agreement has been it's a good working relationship. It's a term that they use in the MDNA, which is nice. It says to me that nobody wants to fight. They want to sort it out and move forward because both
get
of them
to this
need
money.
each other.
Correct.
Efficient operations. So they have to be very clean. Essentially, all they do is build the towers and then manage the
Manage it,
towers.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and refurbish. Because they have an arm that refurbishes the older ones.
Yeah.
So they're on top of that and they want to grow their short-term rental, which Ryan, you know this thing.
I mean,
I
we know. I know a little bit about them.
short-term rentals. I feel like using those things to jump to other companies.
Let's go.
I soon do it, but I want to hear you finish your point.
I also remember we had spoken about the short-term rentals because at the time when we were analyzing it, they were talking about going into it, and we had the concession agreement in front of us, and we said it doesn't limit them from doing that. And they were
exactly.
talking about in the periods when students aren't on the building.
Yeah, so during summer you clean the building and you rent
And
it
say,
to
"Yes,
regular
rent it
people.
out." And so
Yeah.
it was good to me.
That
So
works.
Some they actually use the whole thing for short-term rent.
Yeah.
That's fire.
That's $80 a night,
Yes, which the students aren't playing.
compared to $50 a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
80 US a night, by the way.
Yes.
And somewhere in Jamaica, you have people who want that.
All right, but let me be. Imagine that. Let me be the voice of reason here, or I don't want to play devil's advocate. The devil, they don't need no friends.
I just thought negatives.
Yeah. What do you think could go wrong for them?
The concession agreement gets
it's
drawn
falling
out.
too. Yeah.
Pay the money to lawyers instead of.
That's the biggest risk. But it would seem as though maybe I would think the worst is behind them.
Think so?
So the issue with the concession agreement, is it that the UE has a problem?
I think it's more interpretation.
But at the end of the day, I think you just have, my view, nothing behind it other than my
Yeah.
gut. My personal view is that someone in UE realized that, hold on, we are guaranteeing these guys 90, which in simple terms mean if occupancy 1 year is 80, we have to find that 10% and give them.
But realize though, the risk is actually lowered the longer it goes on because UA has a shortfall in terms of rooms already, So more or less, once those rooms are in the system, the risk is to the landlords outside of UA who are renting their places to students because remember, if you can get a spot on campus, you're going to take it.
Yes, you are. Yeah, of course.
Versus going to some unknown
Yep.
territory
Unknown place,
where you have to
correct.
commute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why after 2 years, the buildings are at 100%. So UA's risk is technically lower. After
UE
2
can
years.
manage
Yeah.
security costs and maybe pay out. There's lots of things. Crime.
They
There's
manage
lots of
everything.
things,
They
yeah.
manage everything.
We hear it all the time in recent times where some student is commuting and
They
from
get
themselves
held
And then
up
they-
or
and
something
Yeah.
happen.
get robbed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the things on UE's campus, sorry to cut, but things on UE's campus get used more because more people are on the campus.
Yep.
There you go.
So there's more money for UE.
There you go. So really and truly, the only risk, and remember it's still early stage, the only risk is building, completing, renting. So whereas the room start maybe 1,800 now, when the third one's done, they'll be 2,700 for argument's sake. There'll be the debt associated with the third one. But really and truly, when that gets to 100%, that's it. And that's not risky enough for me to say to myself, well, I can I'd be worried about it after 5 years. After 5 years,
Your money
I
is
mean,
made.
the money is made. So
Yeah.
nobody really, and worse, interest rates have come down since.
And they have,
Yeah, they would have been borrowing at 10, 11%.
yes, so they can refinance.
Now they're at like 6.
And they have a variable rate
Variable rate.
Yes.
paper, so that's
Yeah.
beautiful for them. So they ride the paper. I think they're like a percent or two above. I think they're a percent or two above whatever. They have a rate that they're on, and then they go a percent or two above that to provide a
Yeah. I
premium.
don't
That's
remember the
good.
details, but there's a variable rate component to it. So that benefits them also.
I remember the agreement, the revenue will go back to you after a certain period. It's a concession agreement.
Yeah,
So
I think
it does
60
go-
years
yeah,
they get
so-
UA gets everything, all the
UAE
buildings.
UAE
all.
very much plans to be in business for 60 years.
Of course.
So
Why would
we're
I
having
not?
these guys build this place for us,
Free.
and then we're going to collect all the money from it in time.
Win-win-win.
Or room stock grows.
What's the issue?
There's no
Yeah.
issue. So then that's part of the whole concession thing because it's in their best interest that UA stays in business.
Yeah.
Or using UA's best interest that these guys stay
Yeah,
in business.
definitely. They're refurbishing your existing places, building new places for it. I can't see where they lose on that, to be honest.
All right.
Definitely.
Now we'll talk quick. We're looking on 11.8 million Jamaican dollars in net profit for the whole of 2019. And in the last quarter of 2019, the one that ended 30th of September, the profit was 72 mil.
Which is just telling me that the rest of this year wasn't that great. So, good
The
things
year
to come.
before, it was a loss on both the quarter and the year, which says that now these guys have a run rate
their
September
own, bro.
of 72 mil.
Yep.
All
So you
right.
can multiply that by 4.
There we go. On
Plus
a
3
light.
to 10 because
3.2.
yeah, because what they do, yeah, well they be earning around the year because
During the summer, they should get
the
some.
summer
I like to be
quarter is
conservative.
short-term
Yeah,
rental.
so the
Yeah.
places without it, they make
And
more
yeah,
money.
If we go straight forward, though, you know, you're looking
This
on-
year is a real year to assess it because if we assume the problem is there's still going to be turbulence when they start to construct the new building. But until that time, I think
Yeah, but even if they start to construct a new building, you said there's turbulence. Not really.
there's nothing too.
Because they did this before, and you have an idea what happens to them during a turbulent
phases,
construction
yeah.
period
Yeah.
because we have previous financials
Yeah.
covering those
There
periods.
you go.
And they made good profit during that time.
They made money because
Yeah.
they are cash flow positive now. They pay all the bills.
Straight up. Wow, that's
Straight
good. That's
up.
strong. That's strong. That's strong.
And they took
Coca-Cola
on
company.
$1 billion debt and they've been servicing their debt and everything. And I mean, there was a major transaction, I think, last year when some shareholders had reduced the exposure. But these are founders, right? In the end.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
back. Let's go.
All right, guys, so we're back. I don't know if you realize, maybe Martin did a really, really good edit, so you didn't even realize we're gone, but we are human. We took a break. We're back now. So
It's been a while.
yeah. We have with us again, in case you don't remember, Ryan 5 Soleil. We're talking stocks. We're going through as many companies as we can cover. I haven't spoken in a while. So we're just giving his view. So you're telling us, Ryan, that you like 138
I
and
like
you like it over the
138.
next few years,
I
right?
do. I do.
Boom. All right. I asked on Twitter, a couple of people asked some questions, so I can touch one of the questions now. 2 people asked, I'll do that one first. What
people,
stocks
wow.
are in his portfolio and why?
No?
Yeah, what you
All right,
holding?
So my position has been, my posture has shifted, not so much in terms of my expectation, but as everybody knows, I have material holdings in one junior market company. So I'm trying to balance
Which company is that?
the lab. So I'm trying to balance my exposure
Big up the lab.
between
every
the
time.
lab, big up the lab, of course, between junior and main, stable and maybe less so, right?
Why?
Portfolio bank. Yeah, there's a lot more at stake now. It's not like I was gunslinging 4 or
Before.
5 years ago. So no,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't want to be irresponsible.
True.
Right. So what I have now is I have 138 SL. I have AMG, which I've had for a while. I have Lasco Manufacturing. I have quite a bit of that. I have the lab. I have Mailpack, Scotia, and Sagicor. I sold my NCB at 215, but you have to remember everything's relative. So for me, as mine needs to be at 30 and 40, and I'm going to buy back, but just based on my expectations and based on where I saw things going and where I found myself at this particular time, I took the opportunity to buy Scotia, which is a very stable holding, and I bought Sagicor because I like Sagicor's growth is going to be led by commercial banking and investment banking.
And insurance.
Yeah, but insurance hasn't grown this last year. So I'm not very...
Over what? Sorry, when you said growth, what time period are we talking?
It's the last year over year. I can't speak
to... You're one-on-one, okay.
Yeah, I can't speak to 5-year trends or whatever.
Okay.
But I do know the space has gotten a little congested with NCB and Guardian and things. So I just... Not to say that I'm opposed because NCB Guardian suffered from...
And Canopy.
Canopy. Well, you make a good point now because Canopy, I gather Grace Kennedy was with Guardian. That's 2,000 people.
That's a major amount of people.
Maybe
too.
So again, again, all being told, I kind of just shifted a little bit. But I really like Sagicor because I think investment banking, as I've said it, maybe said it internally, I think investment banking can be a major driver for any business that does it well. I certainly have seen it internally in terms of what we do. And you can be in the middle of a deal, nobody knows you're in the middle, and you make money on both sides, and you provide value to both sides. But your cut is significant. We've seen it with Mayberry. So I really like what Sagicor is doing because even with like the select funds, a lot of people may overlook that, it's vanilla and whatever, but guess what happened? They are monetizing $4 billion that's just sitting on their bank accounts there.
I don't hear much people mention that one.
They don't get it because they don't get it. They don't get what they're doing.
In fact, the entire way how they built it up.
Exactly. So they're saying, listen, you can buy it to Jamaica Stock Exchange. You don't need to think about it. Just buy this. They're packaging it and giving you.
It's part of a larger market.
You need to have
index funds.
And that's fees off the top.
And that's creating an ecosystem. Again, contributing to what we spoke of before. So I'm very comfortable with Sagicor. And the truth is with the bank, I think the CEO is doing a great job. But I also like it's a personalized feel to it. You have the black card holders and whatever.
The bank section of Sagicor.
That's
Chorvelle Johnson.
Yeah, Chorvelle Johnson. Big up Chorvelle. I really like what they're doing with that. So that's what I hold right now. I think, Sagicor relatively stable, but I think offers growth. Scotia stable, growing their loan portfolio. Could there be something with the two? Time will tell. But strategy, right?
Yeah. So if you think there could be something, that's a great strategy for the people listening. You think there could be something to companies? Buy both of them and go on hold.
Go on hold.
Either work or it don't work.
That's in line with my personality, though. So I'm like always looking for opportunities, And I think so. When the lab is with Digicel and they do a lot of business for Digicel, and I was actually thinking today, I'm not seeing the Digicel ads on TV because they had this challenge. But then I realized I haven't been home much to watch TV. And I saw the Christmas ad with Ding Dong or whatever. And I said, well,
the jet don't pick up.
Great. But I saw the one with Ding Dong there. So at least stuff is happening. I'm pretty sure that. So I'm very comfortable because as the lab grows, and I mean they've done a lot of new business with new clients, they will disclose that in time. I don't know with specific detail. Very comfortable with that, and that again, that's the kind of business that could double in a year.
It's a junior market company in its first few months of being listed, and we know what happens to junior market companies. I'm on record as saying that the only thing I expect them to do is move up.
There you go.
And I am obviously biased as a heavy holder. People know that I hold it, so. Hey, I'm proud to hold it, and I might hold it for a very long time. Who knows?
And that was a significant opportunity with scalability.
Absolutely.
We basically, when you buy into the lab, you buy into the people because it's a creative industry. You buy into the people and what they can sell to based on the talents they have in house and the way they pull talent
and where they can sell.
Exactly, where they can sell, the way they sell. It's always more you can sell.
Definitely. And something a lot of people overlook is literally every listed company could be a client for the lab.
Yeah.
Every company that comes to market could have the lab could be their service provider or contractor for them.
Look on the lab's prospectus. My first thought was this is a very pretty prospectus.
Look at Mailpack.
A lot of people like that.
Just look at Mailpack and the ads and everything. I mean,
it looked a lot like lab.
It looked a lot like it came out of a lab, right?
Yeah, it looks
like there's a continuum. I got an email today. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what the email was about, but again, came from Mailpack, and I'm saying this looks really aggressive. It coincided with the call that I got for my delivery from Mailpack to pay my bill, but the point is, it's in your face. It's in the space.
So lab, we'll call it a good.
Yeah, I
like the lab. I think all three of us like the lab.
I think I like the lab. Yeah. So that's what I hold. I don't. As I say, I exited my NCB, but I'm always looking at opportunities. I think I don't want to be too concentrated in any one area. But right now, I'm kind of positioning myself for something big to happen. Really, something could happen with Lasco. I really want to be there. I'm not really trying to meander along. Not to say you trade out everything forever, but I'm really just there for what I think the new opportunities are and trying to balance my exposure.
Lasco. Last D.
Last M.
Last M.
Last M.
Say no more. Well, say more, but not now.
15% net margins. Wisinko is 10.9.
And Wisinko is a giant that has
Wisinko,
giant.
and I love Wisinko. Actually, Wisinko is a stock I'm going to be looking to accumulate this year. My approach now is just steady accumulation. But
there we go.
again, remember, investing is not one size fits all. So everybody is at a different stage and they're trying to do different things. So I'm just trying to buy bits and pieces every month, every so often.
Of Wisinko. Tell the people why.
I got some Wisinko myself.
Well, they're all, you know what? They have a tagline, I think, somewhere they call themselves the innovators. And so when you read about the LNG plant that's going to save them $1 million US a year, they're spending, I think, 2 point something on it. They have some, they've done some interesting recruitment in terms of, in spaces. If I say anymore, it's going to come across as insider trading.
It might be.
It's really just my knowledge I've gleaned from the markets. It's not insider, but I'm an analyst by nature, so you pick up things.
That's it too, but because of where you are, people won't believe.
They won't believe it, so I will never be specific. But when I look at how they're recruiting and how they're trying to position themselves, and you see the press releases that speak about exports and trying to identify particular products to export. You said to yourself,
because I might say something I might have to take back.
You said to yourself, boy, these guys are thinking, the like I said, with Wisinko, the owners are still young, they're mid-50s or young 50s and hungry. They're doing acquisitions.
Yes,
crazily. They just bought what they bought this year. Since they buy Worthy Park,
JP.
Right.
But what I like about them though, that's the kind of company you buy, you close your eyes and you forget about it.
Oh yeah, cannot go wrong.
Everywhere, when you start to see that kind of innovation coming out of a local business, they're already supplying the styrofoam substitutes. You said to yourself, boy, this is really a company that's thinking
ahead
and not allowing itself to be stagnant.
Yeah, man.
And that's the biggest thing for me. When I look at businesses, I'm trying to identify. And again, that offsets with Alaska that may not necessarily have the robust revenue growth right now, but things change so quickly. Remember I said, we're in a business that things change every 3 months.
Yep.
So you can't ever be too hard and fast because then something will turn on you and you're dead.
Yep.
So I try to identify nimble companies. So more often than not, aside from the relatively more stable companies, I really try to identify nimble businesses that are doing things, and I try to buy into them materially to benefit from that. Because when I first started out, I couldn't.
Yes.
I wasn't buying in the volumes then with the NTB at 30, Supreme Ventures at 3.
They just never had the money to do it.
Just never had it.
Yeah.
Fine. So you invest to be able to get to the point where you can do something. Now the problem is local market, it becomes harder to trade the more you accumulate.
Yeah. We're just complaining about it.
Yeah.
But that's why you buy what you'd be prepared to hold forever.
You have to be prepared to hold a while and leverage
If
it.
worse come to worse.
Yep.
If it's $100,000, it don't matter.
Yeah, you can get in and out if
If it's 10 million, it's a different story, right? 20 million.
Things get hard as you approach a mill.
5 million. Once you pass 5 million, you have to it has to be
years worth
true
once you go to
demand.
5. Yeah.
It has to be good. It has to be bona fide demand.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have 5 million NTB, it goes tomorrow.
True.
Or Satchik bar.
Yeah.
True. But 5 mil.
If you have 5 million signals, it's a great company, but you may not move as quickly.
Yeah, you have to exit over a period of
time.
days. So find a buyer.
Unless they put out blockbuster numbers, so then you kind of have to be looking for businesses that
have
create this outsized demand for outside shareholders. You know what I mean? Especially if they're smaller.
Yeah.
Yes. Which does happen sometimes with the junior market.
Yeah, sure thing. So that's kind of where it is. But I do think for sure though that, as I said, what my guiding principle has been that whole thing of being nimble. But I'm very sure there will be more deals going forward. Was that the last question? I saw another one.
No, there are a bunch. But I was going to scatter them
I
through.
don't want to let go to Wisinko before.
Sure. Let's go.
Before. You know, I go on tangent. Cool.
No, go.
Yeah, man.
Start.
So the Wisinko, I was looking at what they did. Not what they did. affiliated company, the Wendy's.
Yeah.
When they sold the Wendy's. So before, I was looking at I was mentioning to Randy before, when you go into a Wendy's, it's a Wisinko touch point. It's where a lot of Wisinko drinks are sold. You see, the sodas that they distribute are there. So they only sell Coke. You see the
Minute Maid, or what's the other one?
Coke,
Tropicana?
the fresh, yeah man. So you have,
Right.
well, even, I think Tropicana, you know, they have the fresh drinks. They have the limeade and the mango peach. They have True Juice actually sold in Wisinko, water,
Right.
and Crown Water. They're sold were sold in Wendy's. So when they're letting go to Wendy's, I was saying, boy, I wonder if this is going to change. And then I saw a news article on the 9 Circle K stores for JA.
Yeah.
And I was saying, wait, something like that. That's a good put. It's my food own company.
One of the sons, I think.
One of the sons, yeah, man. So I was looking at it and I was like, yeah. So I've never been there. So I'll go on Google, search it up, and I was looking at some of the pictures of in-store in Jamaica. And if you look at it,
It's very nice. It's
see-
like,
but you see a lot of Wisinko products.
okay,
And if you, when Ryan was speaking about export, 9 Circle K plans to go into the broader Caribbean.
Right.
So to me, that's also Wisinko is pushing out in Jamaica, and then in the export markets that the 9 Circle K goes to, that's more Wisinko.
But that's business, right?
That's
because in
business.
the end, people don't realize that you can manufacture and distribute. But you can do the whole integration, the whole vertical integration, manufacture, distribute, and sell.
people have heard us talk about the power of a vertical.
Yeah.
So you have the whole, I mean, Exxon does it. They drill, refine,
ship.
package, sell the stations.
Yeah.
It's no different, because if you think about it, all you need to really do, is have a great retail brand. Right?
And the back end of a retail brand is
It's
just
the
really
products.
an amalgamation of margins that you're losing
Sure.
to suppliers. So if you
Yeah.
are those suppliers,
Then
And that's the
You
brilliance
no
of
longer
it. So
need
the
it.
brilliance of it is you control the end user in the sense that you have this fancy brand. Everybody wants to buy from you. They want to have the Domino's experience, for argument's sake. That's a pizza. They're not marketing drinks. Right? Nobody cares about the drinks,
that's
technically.
true. That's true.
But you buy the pizza, you have to get drinks.
Yeah. And the drinks that are there
So
are
they
the ones I'm going to buy.
they factor in the cost of the drinks with the pizza.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they win twice.
Yep, that's controlling the vertical.
That
That's
is,
the
I
controlling
mean,
the
that
vertical,
is
yeah.
that is like a brilliant strategy. You control retail.
I like that. Yo, we gone through so many companies without even realizing.
You know what I mean?
it. I like that.
So technically, you're seeing the model for like growing businesses locally.
and at a heavy scale.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Look how we got the Worthy Park distribution by getting Worthy Park privately.
everybody's gonna want to drink a
pizza.
rum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're not drinking Worthy Park right now, but I wouldn't mind it.
So then you may ask yourself, is there something for Wisink on alcohol in the future? Who knows?
Because he has a footprint in the business. Yeah, who knows?
Could it
Yeah,
be
so you can
alcohol
speculate
in
on that.
Could
A
it
rum
be
punch.
alcohol in a rum punch? Could it be an alcohol in a can blended with something?
Could it be something you have to remember? This, you're the innovators. These guys invented cran water,
Of course,
which is now considered great
because they
Remember-
lost oceans, right?
Yeah, exactly. Out of crunch came something great.
Yeah.
I know it's world beating in my view.
Yeah,
I'm gonna carry that idea two places. One, well, Ryan, you're old enough to remember Shandy.
yeah. I remember
There's
Shandy.
no real Shandy-ish product on the market. No, the closest
None.
we probably have is like a Smirnoff.
It's not the same.
And it's not the same as a Shandy. A Shandy is
Shandy was like you drink at like 14.
it's like lemonade almost.
Yeah.
But there's a little beer in there. There's a little
Little
alcohol in
touch.
there. But it tastes good. It's a nice drink. It's a chilling drink. Yeah. And it was very good when we had a lot of young people who had a lot of disposable income.
Yeah.
There was a little gap in Jamaica where that didn't happen. And now I think we're getting back there now. Yeah, the people who are 23 now with jobs can go out and have a drink again after work and can buy a couple of whatever. There's so many ways in which I can go. The second direction on carrying is this, right? You've been to Haiti, right? I haven't been yet either, but I don't have a bottled water brand.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. So that's kind of like where the opportunities rest. But then even locally, I say to people all the time when they're saying that Jamaica is tapped out, I say, guys, you probably don't drive around
Tapped
Jamaica. Because I can tell you, I go around a fair bit.
Yo, shout out to the listeners outside of Kingston.
Yeah, we probably
Jamaica
sell
don't start
to,
yet.
generally speaking, we probably sell to 6 parishes, 7, because St. Mary is untouched, in my view. St. Thomas is untouched.
Yeah, totally.
And it's right there.
Totally.
Most of
untouched.
Portland is untouched. Hanover is untouched for the most part, because it wasn't with Lucy is ripe for development.
You skip a holy Trelawney is empty.
A lot of Trelawney is untouched. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, St. Anne, St. Anne's still big. There's still a lot of it that's untouched. A lot of St. Catherine's untouched. A lot of Westman is untouched.
Ochi gets touched.
That's
Saint
Anne is out of bush, you know.
Is both. Yeah, I had a little shop up near Discovery Bay there that people come down to the town to shop, but nobody goes to them. The first person to go up to them to sell them anything gets business.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you know there's like a community like in the hills of Discovery Bay that's like incredible? You're overlooking like the whole sea.
Yeah. How do you know about this, sir?
I mean, I'm in the streets.
Yeah.
People don't even realize the extent to which we're just losing out on opportunities. But these areas remain undiscovered. Here's why: because the rich guys own like the homes on the coast, so they don't really want the disturbance. You can rent a villa there for $30,000 a week, and it's nothing. That's where the money wants that privacy, which is understandable, right?
Yeah.
And there's many other spots right across the island. The point I'm making though is that we have entire economies unexplored, underdeveloped.
My measure for that is the percentage of the population that's in Kingston. About 1/3 of Jamaica is in Kingston.
700,000 people plus. Yeah.
So it's to sell to. If we have development happening across Jamaica where we have like the roadways being built and we have serviceable communities, like so you can have businesses going there, then are people moving easily moving from Kingston to go there to work, then to me that's indicator for business to move into that space.
Definitely.
I like that.
I don't know if you guys been like Great George Street in Westmoreland.
Yep, I have.
But
which runs to the sea, does it not?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You will see most, if not every major brand on that road. That's a long road. Was that Westmoreland? And you said to yourself, all right, you'd have thought this would have been in like, somewhere else, but Westmoreland, every brand. And I can tell you there's a bag of money being made on that road. Because remember, if you talk Negril Strip, you're talking all these exclusive luxury hotels of all sizes and demographics that cater to. But then all the business happens there. And you say to yourself, well, this could be distributed even more widely.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, Hanover, St. James Borders, Trial, you're talking some of the most expensive real estate in Jamaica.
Yes. Exclusive.
Beyond
exclusive.
I mean, I was in Freeport the other day in somebody's penthouse, and you're overlooking it. And I had to remind myself I wasn't in Miami. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, and that's Jamaica. And Jamaica don't start yet.
That's Jamaica. Yeah, it's Jamaica.
No. Town is rich. Beverly Hills is rich. That's not
wealth.
rich. That's wealth.
You're not, but you're buying. I don't even want to get in price, but you're buying into that area, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 to get on the ground floor.
Yeah. Just to start.
It's crazy.
700,000 US just to start, and then you have something to build, and you cannot build crap. You can't.
Jamaicans, right?
Yeah. These are Jamaicans.
Yeah, Jamaicans.
I don't want to make it touch on this. Let's carry it back to the market because I don't want you to nobody.
I don't really want.
I don't want you to people. 1834 investments. What do you think about them?
I don't know what to make of them.
Yeah, and I don't. My personal views, I don't think they know what to make of themselves.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's it to
I'm
me
not
too.
hearing nothing from them. I'm not seeing how they're making money.
I mean, they're not really hungry to me.
Yeah, they came out of the RJR Gleaner merger, so they're the part of Gleaner that didn't want to be merged with RJR essentially.
I just overlook them. I don't even.
Yeah, very often.
I don't really even get.
I check them and look at the numbers, but there's no excitement there. They speak about getting strong investments, like they're going to invest in something new, but I don't see what it is. I don't hear nothing.
There's nothing going on there.
Yeah, rough. Access, financial, what you feel? People are excited. We got a lot of shares. 25% of the companies now on the market.
All right. I think microfinance is mature now. I think it made sense for NCB because their ROI, their desirable ROI is lower than mine.
NCB.
Yeah, because NCB would have taken up quite a bit of it.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Well, if they look at top 10 list, no.
You know how it go.
You know?
You know how it go.
Yeah, exactly.
It made sense, but you know what's funny? 11 years ago, no lie, 9 years ago, I said, when I was at Mayberry, I said to people, why doesn't Scotia try to buy Access?
As a microfinance, right?
Yeah, because they need some new energy in the business. They need the 15%, 25% ROI from a subsidiary. Buy Access, make Marcus an offer. Why not? Never happened.
They instead went with, I think, Scotia Micro, whatever. The thing that Lasco bought.
I think they started it, yeah. Perhaps.
Lasco eventually bought it.
Lasco bought it. But I was always thinking, like, because I've always been, remember, I'm always thinking about the big pop, right? And I'm saying mergers and acquisitions and the goodwill and all that is where money is made. Like, why don't you have the cash? Buy them. Buy the exciting young entrepreneur
finance company, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that happens overseas, yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. In Canada, Scotia bought. They bought a young. I think it's called Ally, or it's not Ally. There's people check the show notes out there, but they bought a young, exciting millennial bank.
You're actually quite right. I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
No man. Years ago.
Something else about they bought something. They made, and I'm recalling something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and
buy
they
the young guy. You know what I mean? And get that excitement in the brand and all that. Because you don't hear. I remember 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when guys was just making some fresh money, and they're like, "Yo, I'm starting a microfinance company," and in my head, how I would know that? Because I've been going to them and saying, "Yo, you remember you're supposed to give me 200,000, $500,000 US. Well, let's open the account." They're like, "Boy, I took all my money and I bought this microfinance company. I was starting something." I'm like, "Why?" Because they're saying, I can make 20% a year on it. And I'm like,
but you have to take on all the risk.
I'm like, yeah, but you're in construction.
Why do that?
Why are you doing microfinance? Okay, you know what I mean? So the industry is mature now.
Everything.
And it's funny, I've always viewed Access as the market leader, which it is.
I agree.
But they're now at the stage of maturity now where have the ownership being split up and sold, and that's just a function of the curve, the economic curve, the investor curve. So really and truly, if I'm buying Access now, I feel like I'm buying a little late. Access for me was a buy 8 years ago.
I think that's when they went through the growth phase. So in terms of you look on microfinance as a full industry, essentially what Ryan's saying is that they are almost the NCB of the microfinance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not easy for them to, in fact, you think about it, they reached out and bought a microfinance company in Florida. And I'm sure they've also they bought lots of they bought lots of microfinance companies in Jamaica.
Yeah, but I think they have space for more of that now with the
they can buy
microcredit bill.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
They've been forcing a lot of people into either fix their books or go underground.
Sure.
And that's exits for a lot of them, because I sell my loan book to Access now, then put them onto their platform and more money made.
You remember, NCB now is relatively speaking young and hungry,
Yes, in terms of that the big boys game,
they don't need 15% ROI. Yeah, if they can get it, they'll take it. But if they can get 9% from Access, they're not getting that from cash in hand. And it's a guaranteed business model, because I'm sure all their clients haven't paid them out yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you have that much cash. You have to do something with it.
And there's hustlers who will always need money to borrow. So
can't just have money sitting.
Just buy Access.
That's
it makes
right.
perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense. The bank that Scotia in Canada bought was Tangerine, which was a young bank, bright bank, hitting millennials. Instead of trying to copy them, they bought them. Yeah. Don't reinvent the wheel, buy the wheel.
To me, that's exactly how I see it. So I'm like, I look at, so you want to get to the point, you want liquidity to buy. So when I hear the lab's going to buy some company, I'm excited. When I hear, you need to cut that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you need to cut that.
Yes.
That wasn't in the prospectus?
It was in the prospectus.
No,
we don't have to cut it. There were, because there's no specifics.
I actually forgot it was in the prospectus.
It was in the prospectus. So we'll go.
When you hear the lab going to buy a company, I'm very excited. When you hear, Panjam looking at these different kind of entities to buy and get very excited, because I said, well, That's consistent what's happening globally. What worries me is when I hear companies not trying to buy anybody.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you need to start
You know what I
first in
mean?
your
That's
life.
when I start worrying. When
Yeah.
I hear not looking at anybody, I'm like, okay, well, what is going on?
Well, yeah, why aren't you looking at it? Because everybody's jumpy, everybody's hungry right now.
And in Jamaica, remember, you have so many sectors in Jamaica that are still not formalized yet. Okay, fine. Pharmacies are being formalized somewhat because you have Fontana now. You have Indus Pharma. Fine. There's no supermarket chain listed yet, Mega Mart is in public.
Yeah.
Progressive
Love it if they were,
Grocers.
though.
Progressive Grocers is in the public. Hilo is public through Grace Kennedy, but
But
then,
you don't get direct exposure to it.
you know what I mean? There's
Everything
really
else
nobody
will be-
else. Right? Fine, you have banking.
And you do have under DTL, there is a retail chain there.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
have
but it's not
some
really a
retail.
big.
I mean,
yeah.
Jam Tea too.
Jam Tea
Jam
technically
Tea, but
also, yeah.
they've sold 2 out of their 3.
Yeah.
They just have the one by Price Mart. But you still don't have many sports brands public.
Do we have any?
Why could I not list MVP for argument's sake?
You're right.
Nike's public, so why? I mean,
That's true.
You can list a lot of things.
That's true.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Why is MVP? Why is Racers not going
That's true.
public?
And they would like money. So
Why not?
That is
You know
that
what
is
I mean?
major. And
Something
I
about
say to
thought of
people all the
it, so,
time
yeah.
that you should that's why I said to people, I want every company to list.
These guys, I mean, I did a presentation in 2017, and I think, sometimes you do these presentations and people look at you like you're crazy and all that. And I actually felt that way when I was talking because I was saying to people, listen, 3 things are going to happen for Jamaica to move towards Vision 2030, and they're going to happen by the stock exchange. I mean, to remember all 3, I'm going to take my chances. The first one was an influx of overseas investors. Actually, I remember all 3. Well, the first one actually was more companies going public.
Yes. Yes.
If you
did
look
say
at
that.
America, most of the big companies are public. In
Listing
Jamaica,
culture.
at the time, none were. Because remember, at the time, there was no Wisynco listed.
That's true. That's
There
true.
was no Wigton.
That's true. The big
Actually,
deal-
there's only Grace Kennedy, Jamaica Brothers, and a few others, but they had been listed 25 years plus. None of the emerging publics at the time were public. Contrast that we know when you hear so many companies have gone public since. I then said, well, you would have an influx of overseas investors as a result because Campari from Italy bought Ray Nevia, who had been bought by Trinis before in the space of 5 years. Red Stripe was bought by a Dutch company in Heineken. And there were others. Cayman Wireless was bought by Liberty, which I think is English.
Yes.
And several others. The point is, you have companies all over the world buying into Jamaica market to the tune of $2 billion US, if not more. From 2005, in that 12-year period, I remember we would have gone through world financial crisis, hyper devaluation, hyperinflation, blah, blah. So despite that, you see that $2 billion US of deals. Last one was government divestment. So that said would happen as a result. No Wigton at that point. I don't think Cayman Track had happened at that point.
It was
There
being
was-
discussed, but no.
There was no Trans Jamaica yet, which still hasn't happened. Mortgage Bank, none of those things have happened. But again, that would have fed into the other 2 because if you list a Trans Jamaica at $10 billion, you're going to have some overseas participation one
Must.
way or the other.
Must.
Because guys who want a piece of Jamaica may say, well, I can't, if I put $1 million in US, it may not be enough to move the needle, but I can put 10.
And you also have people who maybe were already in it. I'm sure we like,
Yeah.
yo, I want to keep a stake.
I'll
I'm
take
gonna
a
buy a
piece.
piece.
I'll take a piece.
Yeah.
And I just collect dividends till the end of time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And there's a knock-on effect of JSC pointing out
Of
what
course.
Bloomberg has been saying from 2015. Best in the market.
Of course.
It's one thing. Every year there's a best in the market, right? But what we're used to, well, I shouldn't say what we're used to. What, as international traders, in my opinion, are used to, you see, oh, Togo had the best. Okay, I'm not investing in that. Oh, next year is Japan. Oh, next year is the Hong Kong Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
But what you hear is Jamaica. And then next year, Jamaica. And the year after that, Jamaica only came second or we came third. Then this year, Jamaica again. Next year, Jamaica. At this point, somebody's going to start paying attention.
As in New York for meetings, probably after our last
Last thing.
time
Yeah.
linking up. And I remember I was on like the 56th floor of this building chatting to this lady with my connect there. And she was saying, usually I just come to Jamaica for vacation, but no, actually need to come and talk business with you guys.
So you didn't think
Because
of it
things
that
are
way.
happening.
Yeah.
She's just like, it was just in my mind a nice place to visit. Now it becomes a whole lot more. Right?
Yeah,
Jamaica. And she's like, I can deploy 5 million here, 7.5 million here through the funds were managed as a minority exposure. But the thing is,
To them, that's nothing to.
a lot of times, these guys, remember, you have a lot of guys who are putting that kind of money in, not a lot, but a few, 10 years ago, that amount is now 50 million.
Yeah.
So you may see a trade for like $6 billion and you're like, who's selling this stuff?
Yeah, but it's a guy who's been sitting there
Who
once.
just overseas converts the money and just has a nice time on a boat in France and just pays out his investors. Like, thanks, guys.
There's one
No
specific.
problem, man, Jamaica.
There's one specific article, and I'll speak about it probably because I remember seeing it in Gleaner. There's one specific article about one trader in New York, and I'll never forget the line he said that he's speaking to his other friends in the investing space on Wall Street, and he says, why would I put 2 million into GE to collect 3% upside every year when there's a company in Jamaica called NCB that is paying a dividend of 5% to me?
Yeah.
And he, within his firm, is considered the weird guy. Well, then, but this was when NCB would have been double digits, and not 70 or 80. It would have been maybe 60 or 50.
Yeah.
And he took a
Imagine
big enough
dividends,
stake.
no.
Yeah.
And
And he's in a couple of
that.
top tens. He's in a couple of top tens too. And he's not a Jamaican guy. He's investing from there. He just took the hit. He decided the hit, meaning the risk of going into a Jamaican. This is not something that we are used to, but then put in this country, and he's no, I don't know him. I hope it's in personal money they put in because
And people don't realize, if you win once, at that point you're playing with the house's money technically.
yes,
If you buy TV at 50
you never need to sell it.
and you have it at 200,
Yeah,
your
you don't need to
dividend
sell
yield
it.
is like at 90 cents per annum. It's 3.6 a year. You're talking
I mean, look at-
7%.
Look at Mr. Leachin's dividend compared to his initial investment.
It's 50%,
Getting that every year for how long?
His
now?
I don't think
dividend,
people get
his
that in
dividend
real
yield is like
terms.
70% because
Yeah.
360 and he pay like $4 something for it
Yeah, so
Yeah.
every year.
so people understand this. Leachin is getting back more than half of the money. Technically, we don't know. So let's not get any lawsuits. We don't know the sure numbers. But if you look at it on paper and you make some assumptions based on the dividend payout, he seems to be getting back more than half of the money that he paid for the bank
Sure.
years ago, every single year as a
And
dividend.
he paid it off over 10 years. This is public knowledge.
Yes.
So dividends is been so I mean, listen, the fact of the matter is Jamaica stock market has minted a billionaire that's in Forbes.
Yes.
That's his most productive asset by far.
Yes. And I remember when
And
things were bad.
And he went through tough times. I mean, that's
Tough
life,
times,
right?
And he held on to the jewel.
He held NCB.
Tough times. with tough people.
NCB that people turn around and cuss.
Yeah.
Like I cost them my flow bill. I pay my bill and flow tell me some money overdue. So I go. But everything is love.
Yeah. Sure, I'm sure somebody from NCB is listening to this and they can reach
I
out
mean,
to
it's
you.
cool. No, don't get me wrong. the point is,
Yeah.
money has been made.
And continues to be made.
Continues to be
and
made.
it's not too late. In case you're thinking anything, boy, the ship passed. The ship has not passed.
Yeah,
the ship has not sailed.
There's still a myriad of opportunities, and the environment now is a lot more accommodative than it was
Back then.
when me and Randy were investing, and people were like,
Yeah.
investing.
Are you crazy? You can lose money.
No, my best friends are like taking loans to be like, yeah, we've made some money, but we really need to borrow $1 million or whatever and top up our thing. That's what this market has created.
A total shift.
Yeah,
In
in a big way.
Yeah, I think even just how Dana and I speak now and how we invest. Because certain things, I mean, I won't talk heavy money, but you're right. Like, you use the example of you bought NCB and it's $50. You don't need to sell now if you are a person who have it there. You can just borrow against it. You can borrow against it. So you would invest
that money,
100 grand in something if you don't have the money.
No, I want
You
some
put $1
more
million
gains.
there, borrow 100 grand against it, against the same NCB shares, and put in an IPO that you like.
I mean, people forget that Scotia has paid out almost $5 this year in dividends.
Yeah, you see how many companies are even hitting with the Scotia. Talk about the Scotia, Ryan.
No, I mean, listen, Scotia.
They just announced a nice
my
dividend
view,
again.
my view is that Scotia is obviously deciding to be focused on core banking. They're trying to be the most efficient commercial bank in Jamaica.
Yep.
So they are focused on the transmission of their loan processing, their ABMs. So you put your cash in, you get your cash same time, and the insurance business now. Because remember, in a developing market, there's room for one leader in one area, So my personal focus is on stock. I mean, yes, I may sell bonds as a byproduct, but I'm just a stock guy. You can't be all things to all people. And that's one of the things I admire about Scotia's approach. It seems CEO said recently they grew their loans 13%. Significant, and managed their impairment and all of that. So I'm very comfortable with that. Now, one may say the PE, relatively speaking, is low relative to the market, but yet still one would say, well, the growth has not been that much. Correct. But do you want to be buying when the growth is as much as the market or when it's less?
You need to be ahead of the
You know what I
curve.
mean? Like, that's kind of
Yep.
so. When I bought Berger, and others bought Berger, not even just using myself, Berger been flat for 5 years.
Yes, they
It's
stagnated for a
I mean,
while.
in fact, people forgot about it.
3 to 5?
Before Red Stripe was bought,
Buzz.
it was flat for 5 years. Are you going to say that because something is flat for a long time and not going to look at it? My thinking is, I want to see what's been flat because that means everybody's forgotten about it. You're not going to make money if everybody's trying to buy something. So that's Scotia.
Scotia is so funny. Scotia declared a dividend recently. So it started this month, December.
55 cents.
55 cents, right? And their stock price currently, as of us recording this, is $55.97.
1%.
A 1% dividend in one go.
One leg.
And they pay a dividend every 3 months.
There you go.
Yeah.
Last quarter, I think they paid $1.25.
Yeah.
The one before that was like $1.94.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And, this one is 55. Something big might be coming again.
Well,
or
let's
maybe
see.
55 is a new level.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe 55 is a new level.
But that,
Problems there.
yeah, no problem at all. So it's a nice dividend stock for the people who care about it. And I think that, and if anything exciting happens to them in the future, they're so efficient that it is going to cause them to get a boost. So that's
Automatic
Scotia.
transmission.
Yeah, man.
Perfect.
Off the books. Let me hit you with something else. AMG, you mentioned that's one of the 5 that you have. What do you feel?
Yeah, I think AMG is a core company in that every product needs a package, and only 30% of packaging is provided locally.
Currently.
Yeah, at this
Wow.
time. So 70% upside is there. Obviously, the biggest issue with local suppliers is reliability. So they had some missteps. I mean, one of the founders died who was like the head of operations, so to speak. And at the venture, the toilet paper, he died. So that died with him, unfortunately. But they've bounced back and they seem to be getting themselves, well, I mean, they're profitable again. To my mind, they're a $100 million profit company as of right now. They're 70, 80 this year. But, you know, I bought a few units to just hold for a long time. I forget about it. But the only problem is it's a small company, so you don't have many shares available.
Yeah. And
There was a trade the other day for, I think, 13% of the company. One individual bought it, which, you know, anybody who really wants to know can find out. But you don't really have trades of volume happening, which is typically significant of the junior market companies. But yeah, I like AMG in principle. I think they have buildings all over Retirement Road. It would be better for them, in my view, to like be consolidated in one space and then manage the costs in that way. So again, the opportunity, but then they're going to have to make one press, I think, to get one large commercial complex and build from there. But again, where the market is now, and this is something very important to stress, is that you can't buy things now when it's staring in the face.
You have to be ahead of the
You
curve.
have to extrapolate.
You need
Because
to be the
valuations have caught up now.
Yep.
There's really no risk premium anymore.
Yeah.
You have to be an investor now.
You have
I
to
would
be
say
able to.
what's
You have to
going
be.
to happen.
There we go. You have to be able to look at a company and predict what that company is going to act like, because
Absolutely.
there's very few undervalued. Lots of companies
Absolutely.
right now,
It's fair
very
value.
fair value. So what you're buying is the belief that I am going to increase my fair value in future.
Absolutely.
That's why the gains are getting harder to split.
Absolutely.
That's why I stopped talk now, because I realized, why am I gonna talk?
You
when
can't
this
talk
is
too soon
my
again.
game.
Yeah.
Man, it's all right.
So I thought, well, Sagicor, after I bought it, I could never say it before, because then when I saw Sagicor, remember, Sagicor had gone from 60 odd to 80 and fell back despite the fact they put out these good results. So when I saw the results, I was like, well, why would the stock fall on the back of these results? I need to get it. And I'm not, you have to understand, from my perspective, I not bought Sagicor in 10 years.
Yeah. That's not a touching stock, really. 'cause
No,
they haven't
I had not
really
bought
been
Sagicor in
exciting
10
before.
years. I'd been up. My thing was, I held Panjam previously, and I told the guys at 39, because I said, well, I get my exposure that way. So I never bought JMB, I bought NCB. So I said, well, at the time NCB owned 26% of JMB. So I
JMB,
said, well,
correct.
I have indirect exposure that way.
And JMB wasn't very exciting. To
No,
be fair.
yeah,
no,
to
it
be
wasn't.
honest.
I mean, it's like dumb rep and all that, which is decent. Don't get
No,
me
they're
wrong.
no, they're exciting, but
No,
yeah.
we'll see. No, we'll really see.
Oh,
because,
exciting
you know,
they are,
with
correct. But
Sagicor,
they're
Finance
building back
Corp,
then.
financial company and all that, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
You're talking up. You know, it's a very bold move.
We can go to it after. Finish
You know,
this.
give
Yeah.
credit where it's due. But, you know, with Sagicor, I always felt like, you know, the black card experience, those little things stood out to me. Because if you talk about like a premium bank locally, you'd be saying, well, where would you go if you want if you want to feel special? Where you going to go? I mean, okay, fine.
FGB gave me a nice experience back in the day, but I no longer.
I can't.
feel that way. Personally,
I've never
personally,
had
I know you
have an
can't say
account,
anything.
no, but
Yeah.
I can't really comment. I don't do much with it. So,
But you're right in terms of a premium banking
like
feel.
a special feel, and you know, I don't know. But I always felt Sagicor had they had the branch in Manor Park, and you know, this may get me in trouble, but don't matter. But I always really felt like it was just different.
That they were working. They were working.
Yeah.
Because they weren't mass market like NCB.
Exactly.
at the time.
That's
yeah.
Common man
That's
bank.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, if you're at a certain stage, you want to feel like a special.
Yeah, I do not want to sit in. I'm not going to stand a bank line for
No.
2 hours. That's not
No,
happening.
no.
Yeah,
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that wasn't happening when I had $5,000 to my name. And not happening. No way. Yeah.
I haven't been to a banking age. The only time I go in a bank is if I have to go to drop off something for, you know, my friend at another institution. But that's it. I don't.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I don't see the point in it. But AMG, which is always started on.
Yeah.
I think I tweeted some time ago that I think maybe they've gotten to their that flipping point, you know,
AMG.
because they were going down for a long time. They fixed operations, like you say. I think they're looking up now. We're looking at them last year having made revenue of 762 mil versus 718 the year before.
They lost 3 years, but let me tell you, 2 years. But one, I still be patient with them. But I've bought and forgotten about it. I'm not looking to do anything with them.
But they pulled off a profit this year.
And they paid a dividend.
Yeah,
They paid a
and they
dividend.
paid a dividend. 59 mil this year versus 38 the year from if you go comprehensive.
Yeah, they're paying a dividend of, I think
Yeah.
they're paying out 10 million as dividends, which is a little bit,
Proper.
you
It's
know,
better
it's
'cause-
decent. Because they never paid dividends last year.
Yeah,
The shareholders getting something.
Yeah, they're getting something.
comprehensive income too. 59 mil now versus
They'll be fine.
negative
And
last
listen,
year.
they'll
I think
either
they're
be
in good
bought,
stand now, yeah.
they'll either be bought or they will buy. Because they're uniquely positioned. So companies like that, it makes sense to like have some and just forget about it.
Yeah, you can throw it away if you
Yeah,
can
man.
afford to that. So that's a bigger money place.
exactly.
So guys, if you have a smaller money, don't do it.
Yeah,
Unless
no,
you, unless
exactly.
Yeah.
That's not like if you're trying to build yourself and you
Yeah.
just say, "Oh, I'm gonna buy NG to like get ahead." No, NG you're buying to forget. So treat it like you're buying jewelry or something.
Yeah, that's gonna be a painting
or art.
Yeah.
exactly. You're going to sell in 10
in
years.
10 years.
Treat it
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, AMG in 5 to 10 years. AMG after maybe the third level of the plastic bands going, I think will be a very strong company. Want to expand what they offer.
Yeah.
Let me jump to something else. What's something exciting you want to talk about? You touch on
me.
you with Cinco.
Not
You have
talk
a
about
you have a
anything.
company you want?
JMB.
JMB? You mentioned
I
JMB.
mean, I like the efforts. I'm just, based on my math, they need to. This 22.5% growth stake in Sagicor Financial Company needs to provide half of their growth. So of their EPS for it to be viable. Let's see what happens. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm kind of like simple certain ways. I don't look at fan angles. I'm just like raw numbers. So let's see what that outcome is. But the good thing is, at the end of the day, it answers a lot of questions in terms of continuity, succession planning, whatever, because now it's part of a much larger network.
So they can
So
pull on
one
their
way or the
subsidiary.
other, and I don't think there's any one dominant owner of a JMB. So that makes me a lot more comfortable regarding like the future. Not to say it was ever in doubt, but they've gone through a lot, right? But I mean, it's a great Jamaican business we should all be proud of. Whether it's an investment I would take up or recommend others take up is another story. But I like the Sagicor move. It's bold. I like
Big move.
I
I
like
rate it. Yeah, man.
I like bold moves. It demonstrates entrepreneurship. It demonstrates appreciation of the new normal, and it's risk taking. It's
Yeah, man.
extremely exciting. And these guys, Keith and I think Archibald Campbell are now
on the board.
on the board of Sagicor Financial Company. Again, it's kind of reversing out of what would have happened 20 years ago, where non-Jamaican companies were buying Jamaican companies. No, it's the reverse.
Yep. It's a big.
So I don't know what the SFC ownership looks like, but I imagine JMB is up there. So it's very, very good to see.
Well, they did say that they will be the largest single holder.
Yeah.
The largest single.
So they say
that's even bigger. That's actually massive. Actually.
Yeah, that's massive. That's the only single player. But we'll wait to see. One cool thing that I were talking about when we were heading up here earlier was that we were saying that the
shares you're buying.
The classes, well, no, not even the class B share, the different classes of shares. I won't even go into that too deeply, but I will say that one of the things that I mentioned, I noticed was that Sagicor was supposed to buy Scotia Insurance, Jamaica, and they didn't. And as a result of not doing it, they revised their
predictions
downwards by, I think, I could be wrong here, guys.
I don't remember. But
so like if it was 1.2, they got down to 1 flat.
Yeah,
which does says that there's going to be, you should ideally think of an impact on JMB in the same way. Yeah.
Which again comes back to what I said before, the nitty-gritty. If I'm not going off, I'm not speaking with authority, but I'm just saying, if JMB is a $600 million company now, or 680, they pay between $225 and $250 for this stake, which therefore means 680 minus 250 is 430, right? So half the market cap is in this deal, right? Half of the original market cap. I need to see half of their original profit come from this deal.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I'll be very comfortable.
Yeah. I think in the APO document they mentioned they're expecting 20% in year one. But let's see what happens. It's a good thing to look at.
I'm prepared to wait. I have no issue with it at all.
In the long term, it's great. JMB will be here a long time, or something interesting will take its place. I believe in them. I like that you touch a point that most people don't talk about, you know. The ownership. You said nobody really controls. So people know about the Duncan family, but if you actually follow JMB up, you know the Duncan family does hold and control it, but not too heavily.
Yeah, I mean NTB at 27% at the time, or 29 was the largest
single holder.
Largest single holder. I don't know. It's kind of hard to know how much the Duncan family controls, and really it doesn't really matter, right? End of the day, they operate the company, and they've done very well in getting it to where it is. Getting it to where it is now.
I believe so.
Just a matter now of what is the future. But, as I said before, they are now part of a much larger corporation.
All right.
Which augurs well in my view, because remember now they're now tied up with Sagicor, Jamaica, proven Sagicor Financial Company, Barita, our Cornerstone, whichever entity it's owned through. All these things are in the mix, which is great to see.
Yeah, I like that. No.
Yeah.
You touch Barita. We can talk about that as the next one. As
Sure.
deep as you want to go, as quickly as you want to go. How you feel about Barita?
Not optimistic.
Not too optimistic?
No.
You're not blown away by, or is it 2 quarters of strong profit, 1 quarter of okay profit?
I need to see Barita listing companies. I need to see listing companies. I need to see their names in more deals external to them for me to feel more comfortable as an analyst. I can't say to you, because remember, I know last time we were here the price was 40 something and 80 something. Now it's 70 and flat.
It's about 70. That stayed at
72. Now I need to see what are all these deals producing, because I know the staff. So I need to know what are these guys producing.
I get you.
Because I have clients there, you know.
You have clients who are, you have personal clients who are, okay.
I have clients in the mix, so I know what they're doing and with who.
Okay.
So I need to see.
So you're watching and waiting.
Yeah, of course. I'm an analyst. I'm an analyst, you know. Like I'm looking in between the creeks, and I'm seeing, okay, who's doing this? Okay, who's doing that? All right, fine. Your major shareholders are X person, Y person, fantastic people. But who they doing the deals with?
Yeah, because it's not about what you're doing internally. It's how you bring in
the external money. I don't care who owns your business. What's your business doing at the core?
The fundraising was...
It's an aggressive fundraising.
Banking. Yeah, sure, but what... I'm not seeing where the money is being put to.
Well, the thing is, so here's the thing now. So you buy all these proven shares, you pay out a dividend. Those are 2 actions I saw. Fine, no problem. Your marketing has been fantastic. But if I was like asking questions, I would say, what's the return on your marketing spend?
Which speaks to core.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you're putting this heavy ad thing out there, I need to see your retail.
So they don't advertise.
Grow.
Mayberry advertises maybe 15% of what they do.
I think so. Correct.
Well, then Mayberry is doing every
Yeah. Maybe it's
you know,
built the
5 out of every
market.
10 IPOs, 12 IPOs,
They did Wigton.
Yeah.
they did,
Yeah, did Wigton.
Wigton.
Yeah.
which is major. You know what I mean? So I'm very encouraged by that with Mayberry because I believe the investment banking business is a minimalist business. You
Keep
don't
the
need to
overheads
market.
tiny.
You just
There
need
we
two
go.
good people to get in the mix. You know? That's what Chris Gary and Internet to that extent do. I like that. I don't know about, you know what I mean? I'm worried about the PR.
About the PR, yeah. Well, you know my thing. I'm not big on flash. Not
Nah.
that they're overly flashy, but I've said this privately to people that it's just generally how I am. I don't mind. Like I rate both because both should be a lot louder than he is.
Should be.
Should be a lot louder than he
Yeah.
is.
But he's not going to do it because he has built his brand on performance. But he's been talking a lot recently, but he's smart
up,
because
bro.
he's been talking after he retired.
Yeah, you can't stop him again. Why
These
did
guys-
he beat me then? Don't let
these
me
guys,
overshadow you.
these guys are chatting when they're still running,
Yeah,
which
that's
is silly if you
true.
think about it.
Yeah.
That is true. You
But
lose air.
I'll say in this business that, you know, and I say it as somebody who's in the business and does my fair share of deals that people hear about. People may be like thinking I'm blowing hot here, but they hear about the deals shortly. The fact of the matter is you don't need to spend a bag of money to do deals in this business because everybody wants to be quiet anyway. All they get is a one announcement in the paper and that's it. So I don't really trust all the PR. We start with other companies that have since had their own issues. So if I see in the papers too much, I get worried.
Yeah. Yo, this guy like to throw shots, boy.
If I see in the papers too much, I broke his house, I get worried.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have to pay for that. Because if you think about
Yeah.
it, business news is free advertising every night.
That's true. And yeah. And
But-
TV don't pay Gleaner to say that they
Yeah,
make record
come
profit
on,
every
that-
year. Yeah.
They're not paying to say we did the mail pack IPO.
Yeah, we're just doing it. Yeah.
We're doing it. We're
Yeah.
not paying to say
Yeah.
we're doing the Trans Jamaica IPO. Everybody wants to hear about that.
Yeah. And
Nobody's paying to listen to earnings season who's listening. No, they want to
hear
hear.
it. That's
They
right.
should pay.
I believe in that.
And they should cut you guys a check.
Yeah, I believe
But I'm
in
just
that.
simply saying there is an audience for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. Quality
Definitely.
finds its own level.
I spend
Easily.
70% of my day reading. Paid subscription.
You ever think about that? How often we spend reading?
I'm
Researching?
reading around the clock. So you will see my email tomorrow. I said last week the U.S.-China trade deal will be closed in 3 months.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And I
And here
said
we
to
are.
Twitter, I said at 10 o'clock this morning that the deal is done. All because I saw what President Trump tweeted. Donald.
Uncle T. He knows what's up.
What Don tweeted.
Yeah.
He simply said, I want the deal too. And if you really follow everything, you'll be like, he's never said that. I can't recall
Yeah.
him saying
Yeah,
that before.
man.
You'll be like, China really wants a deal with us.
Right. And these guys are gonna be the best. When he gets quiet and he goes simple, you know it's serious.
And when he's like, I want it too,
yes,
Yes.
you know that
him
was.
tying himself in.
I saw that. I said, it's done. I'm
Yeah.
a brethren linked me. I said, yeah, you sure? What's done?
Yeah.
Not official yet, but I think it's
No,
done.
man, it's done, man.
And
Because these
within
things
5
get
hours,
done.
the announcement came. It's
Yeah,
done.
it's done. Yeah, it's done. There's no point
It's
to
over.
it. America can't fight it factory, and the factory need America.
Exactly.
I've got arguments about this.
Really,
I'm saying, but it doesn't make sense.
brother. When there's a real trade war, nobody's. It's the exact same thing. Hype is a replacement for quality.
Yep.
When you actually have quality, you do not need the hype. You don't need
There
the
you go.
noise. You don't
There you
need
go.
to be known for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally just how it goes. You will always be known because you don't have to push the name. It's always there. When you look at how, if we say Trump was doing, he's making a lot of noise. I'm talking about China and this and that. Okay, no, I remember the point I want to say about Trump. Bad thing to say about. You remember that letter he wrote? I think it's a Ukraine.
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
I don't know who he wrote that.
Yeah, but he wrote it, right? I know it came out publicly, but I look on that and I know he was dead serious because he wasn't hyping. He said, you don't want to be responsible for all these lives in Ukraine that will be lost. And I don't want to be responsible for ruining the Ukraine economy. And I will. You think that man give a damn about the Ukraine economy? No. Which is why he's serious. And I will. And that's, call me. Call me. Call.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that, as much as I love politics and I'm involved, I don't,
You're in politics?
Oh, yeah. Heard about it. I think a lot of what was missed is, people can sometimes get the emotions can get in the mix and they miss the nuances.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the real gems are found.
And that's where the business happens.
Yes. Yeah, man.
So which is why my tweet is there. You see it in my email. I said, this deal is done.
Mm-hmm. You called it.
I said it.
Maybe 4 months ago.
I said the deal
when people are asking, what's happening? It's not a real trade war.
The deal has to happen, guys. There's no argument. Any business person can tell you, no, yes, there's intellectual property issues. I don't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
But when all is said and done, a deal has to happen.
Exactly.
Where's it going to be made? In America? No. Things have to be made in China.
Nobody cares.
Imagine the cost of labor and the cost of moving my factories to America now. No, bro, that's too much problems on me. I come out of business for a lot of companies.
And moreover, here's something nobody talks about. I always say that America needs its factory, China.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And China, the factory, needs America.
Yes.
Yep.
Here's the real talk. America does not want China to realize that it does not need America.
There you go.
You do not want China to
But
start serving the rest of the world.
But
And
China is
acting
not an open enough economy yet to facilitate that. And I think if that happened, it would be a problem.
But they have started.
They have America.
Yeah, but they have a long way to go. Even if you talk about real estate, like if you move, you're like
Yeah, no, but not internally, no, external. Remember that
Yeah, fair.
for within the African continent, China has set itself up as a viable alternative to the IMF.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, 5 years ago, China had less Apple stores than the city of
New York,
the state of Pennsylvania.
No way.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's a fact.
And
It's a fact. They had less Apple stores than the state of Pennsylvania.
I remember when Apple just started dropping iPhones there. When the iPhone C was a whole. Yeah.
Yes.
So
What
this
is
is, but you see, these things get ignored because it's like, I don't know if I want to say it's another world or whatever, 'cause I haven't been there, but if it was ever fully liberalized, it would just be a different environment. Because you go in Shanghai, it's different. It's very expensive. You go like Beijing and you go like remote cities, it's crazy.
It's very, very cheap. It's a
Yeah, you
different
go
world.
Beijing, like people want to take pictures of you because you're black. It's a
Yeah.
fact. I experienced that.
Yeah.
Like, people just come up to you and like this.
You're a black person.
No,
Yeah.
girls crying. I don't know if they thought that's Michael Jordan or something. But
You
they
should have
just
tell them.
want to take pictures. No, let's put a peace sign. Probably. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, just come up to you. I'm like, I saw your picture. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true because I've heard the same thing.
I'm telling you.
People tell me that people come up to them and touch them.
No, they be like touching black girls' hair and everything.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Never seen it before. Never in my entire life.
Like if you ever want to feel like a star, go Beijing. And this is where the bird's nest thing was for them.
Yo, big up legends. You saying both, but I'm telling you straight. If I go China and them asking him, you saying, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes.
It's worse if the hair is Jamaican. but
What?
The
Jamaica shirt.
It's a microcosm of just how different it is there. And I think you won't have that experience in America.
Nah.
Anywhere.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are places you can go in America and you're the first black guy in a long time, but you don't want to stay there. Yeah, they don't.
They don't want to hang around there.
Yeah, you don't want to be there until late.
No. You don't
I thought, people, I won't talk about this too long, but Google what a sunset city is. My little brother did trucking for like a while. Still does sometimes. And I thought that was a long ago thing. He said, no, there's serious places that he has been to where people, like he's gone to friendly people and then done them say, hey, you're not staying tonight? Them go, why not? And say, you might not want to stay within the town, Sunset City.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And that's in 2019, 2018, 2019. So yeah. So we talk China. Let me bring it back to stocks in case we bore some people. C2W music.
Dead. That's not even that's a non-fact.
No, C2. No, they changed the name. Sorry.
It's SSLVC.
VC.
And now it's
Also changes going on with them right now.
What do you think about them? I like the changes. Big up to the new CEO.
I think it's a good change, but I need to see what the businesses do.
Yes.
I think the companies within the group are decent. I don't know about Bar Central, but they just signed a deal with Grace Kennedy.
Yes,
and that's good
I like
for them.
that.
I've always thought Blue Dot had potential, so let's see what happens there. Muse One, I had known nothing about them since our friend there left. And
Sir Dre,
I
big
don't
up
know.
Dre, man.
Yeah,
Like
big up the
attacking Dre.
big up the farmer. You know, he knows what he's saying. Big up Dre. No,
No,
I did that last time, so
Not
I'm not
for
even
this.
want
Not for this.
we already have go at it at Twitter on Twitter, so it's all love it.
Yeah, is that big him up? I'm doing big
He's
things too now.
he's trying to rise after the fall. So
Wow.
we shall rise again.
Oh, wow. Jeez, overshadowed that one. All right.
Next one.
How you feel about proven?
Good company. I think what's going to be interesting is what will they buy next. I've always felt that they were. I mean, we know there was a lack of deal flow locally, and they said that much. They had the private equity fund, and it never really. I don't know if it delivered what they expected. I think the JMB deal was good for them, but I think the question is still going to be, what comes next?
Yeah, definitely.
You exit this access investment successfully. What are you going to buy next?
Yeah. And when I saw with the dream, I thought Proven is now moving to a stage where they want buy companies, dividend flow to them, and valuations and all that. So when I saw the JMB,
Yeah.
that was good for them. But again, what's next? So.
What's next, right? Like, give me something outside of the finance space.
Yeah.
Because finance is cool, but then you're limited because
you lock yourself in your own box.
Your finance, your Caribbean, your high net worth finance, fine. 'Cause you're in Cayman, you're in St. Lucia, no problem. What's next?
Yeah.
Tell me you're buying 10% of Cinco.
I'll something like that.
That excites me.
Yeah.
Because if you really want it, you probably could get it.
I mentioned last time that I like my companies diversify. So when I see Proven doing something like that, no, that's great for them.
Sure.
Money moving somewhere where they can get money that's not related to them or where they're competing or at all.
They can't contribute anything past money. I love to see that.
Exactly.
Because if you think about private equity, like really and truly, it should be, if you buy 10 companies, 2 will be an absolute disaster. Fund managers know that. 2 will blow up and make you massive returns. The other 6, middle of the road. You may lose a little bit, you make a little bit, and you're there or thereabouts. But they're not all in one sector. So as a private equity business that's done phenomenally well, show me something more. You know what I mean? Show me an agriculture. Show me a manufacturing. Show me a food. Show me a not plastics, but
I think
not a styrofoam alternative. Show me
some more
something.
exposure, yeah.
But I don't. That's the only thing I've always felt, because they bought this other company, that some asset management company or asset lending company that DB&G used to own, best of my knowledge, and I was like, decent, but that's not exciting to me.
Yeah.
Step out of the realm that they know.
The access sale was exciting to me
Because of what it could represent.
because of what it started, right?
Yeah.
The Nuts of the Express deal was exciting to me. Because they listed them and they sold them. That's that kind of thing. I'm like, give me an emerging industry. Let's look at that and do something with it. But if you leave me in finance, I'm not really too moved by
excited,
that. You know?
I agree with you.
Finance are boring. They're always the first thing when you tell them to step out of finance. The first thing people always do is real estate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, okay, fine.
I mean, I like how the deal was set up.
It's cool,
That
but
tripartite thing, pensions, build, GK come in. I like that, but
that's cool. But
let's
it's like,
do something more than
give me something more like, you know what I mean, like renewable energy or whatever. These guys are smart, so they don't need my advice. I'm just saying, show me something else.
Yeah, I think they
agree,
might.
definitely.
I suspect that they might. Renewable energy, touch that. How you feel about MPC? Oh, you look like you're going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, I think I understand they emerged in a different kind, Jamaica. So it's not like the Jamaica, no.
True.
But then you remember they did very well, and they raised 20 million US in a Jamaica that was just emerging or just about to go into a JDX. That little gray area.
Yeah, they were working hard when things were looking.
Yeah, it was
sure.
tricky, and it was tricky. I mean, yes, interest rate had fallen, which a lot of people overlook, but it still was a little bit of a hostile environment, which you'll never get over an 18-year hostile environment in 3.
That's true.
You
It
know
takes
what I mean?
time. It might
Takes
take.
time.
It might take
Takes time.
18. It
And
might take
actually,
20.
we are now 07. We're 12 years removed from 07.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, is almost 6 years away from the 18 years of of doldrums. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're 13 years, so we're 5. So more or less, that's over. That's history. Like kids now don't know nothing about that. So that's history. It never makes sense. Like bring it up more than so.
True. That's just true. People don't know. People don't know it the way we know it
We don't know
innately.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said to you that, proven to me as a private equity company, I would be very encouraged to see. I mean, Chris is maybe 51. He has 14 years left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, what's the next level leadership look like for that PE company? What do they want to do? But PE companies typically are bought by larger PE companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, what comes next? I would love to see, honestly, my view, their shareholders are some of the largest private sector players in Jamaica. I would love to see a proven buy a stake in one of these massive companies and really set wheels in motion. That would be very exciting to me.
But outside of finance, because they do.
Yeah. Come on, I mean,
Because they own 5% of
Yeah,
Sagicor.
they're like very well exposed in finance and pension
Yeah.
funds and other something outside of finance.
Okay. I'll touch it. I'll touch Pulse, and you know what's coming next.
Decent. Pulse,
Still happy, still loving.
strong real estate company.
You touch that. I mean, that's what I was going to mention when you were talking about 138.
Yeah, they'll benefit from the growth in asset prices in Jamaica. So,
and they'll continue to, and they use their asset every day.
I'm patient man right donkey, so I'm very I like the companies people don't like. I don't have Pulse right now, but I'm always keeping my eyes open. I'll buy Pulse for others because remember, my position is kind of different, but I'm very comfortable with Pulse.
I like them at $4 a little bit. I still like them for the long term. I
mean,
like
they
that
have-
they use the asset
They have $2.5 billion in real estate in desirable areas.
in
I
the
can't.
middle of New Kingston.
Yeah, and Stony Hill. I can't really see the downside. I mean, people may have their misgivings for whatever reason, but I'm very comfortable.
I
I'd
like
buy it just like AMG for me. I'd just buy it and forget about it.
speculative buy.
Yeah, not even speculative. I just buy it and
Long
forget about
term
it.
buy because
That's
it's good.
it.
Yeah, that's
exactly
like me.
right.
Funny enough, I'll drop one of those. You know what I buy with it? I fulfill that promise. Big up man like Tyrone Wilson. I bought.
I create.
Yeah, I bought some I create
oh, yeah.
because I promised him I would, and because it dipped below the 70, so I grab a little bit at 69 cents or 68 cents.
That's not good. That's decent.
Yeah. I believe in them. I believe in the long term. As long as I keep pushing, and I believe in Tyrone. Tyrone know him thing. That just
Tyrone's
need a
a
little
good
bit of
guy.
patience.
I don't issue it, Tyrone.
Yeah, man. So big up Tyrone for that. I create. Paramount. Nobody really talks about Paramount. PTL.
I think Paramount is.
I think they can do better.
I think they can do better. As Dana said, I really think they're underachieving.
Yeah,
Boy.
that's the word. Yeah.
I got some cussing because somebody tell me say I don't like black companies, which I will not. I don't usually tell people when they manage to find a few things that will insult me. That one hit me hard. Don't ever tell me something like that. You have no idea how into black power I am. I didn't like the company because they had 3 years of just descending profits. Their profits fell year after year after year. And I heard
back
nothing.
We are doing things to make.
We're being great.
We're being great. We're getting more. We're doing this new business. The deal with whoever set up this
Blah blah
plan,
blah. Yeah.
and we still
Not
losing
like
money.
anything, right?
Yeah. Well, that's now at the end. So no, they ended up.
something else with them now.
They bought them out. It
They
seems.
bought them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So will
I
that
think.
change anything?
I think
I hope.
Paramount kind of went
I haven't mapped
through
it personally. Yet.
with having no insider knowledge of the company. I think they kind of went through the phase where you emerge, right? Because it's a 20-year-old business, one of the few that
Has been around from then,
It's been
yeah.
around for a while, and you go through the startup phase, and you emerge, and you list, and you have this money, and you blossom, and you become $1 billion revenue company. By right, you become $1 billion revenue company in Jamaica. You really not no worries, because if you have a dip, all right, fine, you get 900 million. Okay.
The owner is good enough.
I mean,
Yeah, the owners are good
you
because
go
it's
to
tightly
like
held also.
1.1, I mean, fine, your life really don't change that much. You're good.
Yeah.
can drive a Lamborghini, nobody cares.
Yeah, people care. Big up the Lambo.
Yeah, people care, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
You're only 80%. You know, you're getting, you pay yourself a dividend 40 million or 50 million. Nobody.
Your dividend is nice.
So the thing is, I think they kind of got to that point where, okay, well, what's next? But remember, they're also at the point where they could be relatively vulnerable, where currency prices, electricity prices could, input prices could sway them one way or the other. But I've always liked it. I've always thought it was overpriced, and I've always waited for it to hit a discount. The one thing I didn't like about it is that connected parties, by my knowledge, between the CEO, chairman, and family members own 95%.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tightly
That
held.
was
Yeah.
never to me appealing. I was never very comfortable with it. Not to say it was negative for the company, but as a shareholder, I need to feel as though if I bring partners in with me, for argument's sake, that we can get a size that would afford us some measure of being noticeable.
You feel like you're unequal in the room, not like
I just feel like I'm buying into a minority stake in a family company, and I wasn't very comfortable with that. But that's how they've done the business, and they've been very successful. So credit to them. But this is for me. I'm just not into that.
QWI, Sir John Jackson and company. I love put pressure on John Jackson about it, but it's not John Jackson alone, and the people around him not.
I mean, John, my friend, I think it won't. QWI is not a match for me because I buy individual stock. But I said to you that QWI, Sagicor Select, those companies are in one bundle because it allows for the investor who's just starting to buy stock and just forget about it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I don't like it either. In terms of me buying individual stock.
I haven't bought.
Yeah.
I don't like to put my decision on my portfolio on somebody else.
Yeah.
So
That
there's
doesn't fit me either.
Big
but
facts.
I do think there is money in it in terms of the qualifications those guys have.
No
so.
doubt.
Yeah. David Stevens is not a lightweight.
Yeah, David seems
John
a good guy.
Jackson
He's my
is
friend.
nothing,
He's a good guy. Good
Top,
guy.
top,
We
top,
talk
top
all the
guy.
time. Solid guy.
Yeah. Seriously, the more I research, the more I rate him. Yeah.
No, David-
But then the whole team is heavy, yeah?
So
David's
they know
actually
what they're
John's
doing.
son-in-law. I thought people don't know that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
John's son-in-law.
QWI.
Yeah. Decent. I mean, as I said, for people come to me all the time and they're like, yo, I just started now, what should I buy? And I said, well, I don't really take on a lot of new clients, but if you really just want to start, just buy a Sagicor Select or QWI School, you'll be in good hands.
Yeah. You hold those for a year, 2, 3 years, you cannot
whatever,
lose,
it don't
in
matter.
my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
However, and I do hold both, I will say that,
Yeah,
but
man.
I hold them in a specific way, so there's a time when I will not hold them because I'm looking for a specific gain from them. And right now, QWI is almost bargain bin prices.
What's that, $1.09?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, I keep buying it. I bought some at 108 today, $1.08
That's
today.
not a bad approach, no, with like the market where it is. It's $1.05 now, actually.
And unlike all the other funds except Sir Berry's fund in MJE, they are diversified outside of finance. And when the MDI, when Select M's come up, but until then, they are diversified outside of finance. So they touch everything and they eat from it and they have a good dividend policy and they're going outside the country, as they said in the past.
They bought US stock recently, I think.
I don't know.
Which actually
Is that
worked
public
out.
yet?
No, they said it somewhere.
They said
I
it
don't know,
publicly?
because I think so, because the trade deal was struck today. So
you can say today because by the time you guys are hearing this, it's already public.
yeah, and the fact is, it just fortuitous. We just went back in the U.S. market last week, as I said in my email, which is why my email is so helpful because
You can get a whole heap of people pressing you for that, you know.
I know, but
So you go.
I just add people randomly sometimes. I don't really.
Guys, don't ask me. This is Five Solely.
My
Pressure
friend
him.
was asking me to ask Ryan to get her an email. You know her, actually.
Who that?
Shanice Williams. She's in the Rotaract.
Yeah, send me an email private. I love her.
All right, that's
Shanice's
cool.
a nice girl. I love her.
That's cool, guys.
But you know what's so funny about the email though? Like that just used to be at my desk at Maybury. And I got the idea from Chris Williams because I remember once, like 2008, he was talking about experience with a client in his email, willing news that went to people. And I was like, it's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
But you know me, I'm like this type A personality where I just tend to take things to an extreme.
I'm just doing it. I rate him so much.
I
Have you
do this
missed a
every
week?
No, like
Since
never.
2008, I've been reading it.
Yeah,
I read
I
his
never miss a
email
week.
the way I read Gleaner.
Like I may do a Christmas break, but I don't
Observer.
miss a week.
I've seen your email. I saw your email before. From Europe Maybury days.
Word. You threw
Because I
the
see it
link
on the
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And when
I like
left
that.
There, I did have a website a little bit, and then
Yeah. I have every single email you send. So anytime you're missing something you want it, yeah, man, I have every
Yeah.
single one. So sometimes you say something,
Yeah.
and I search and go back to make sure because I don't delete.
Yeah, I have it. It's actually fascinating because it's a free email and it's been free for a while.
Yeah.
It's part of my bigger picture.
I
I'll
like
tell you
that.
much.
Well, I can
Part
tell
of
you
my bigger
this.
picture.
Well, I haven't said it publicly before. I say it no. So I'm doing something like that. Not to the level of Ryan's Zone, because Ryan's Zone is like it's also a select
There's more
email.
than enough space though. Like,
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's
Sure, like,
that's the
why-
difference between I find people like us and everybody else. Like I want people to do what I'm doing because one, it works, and two, I don't want to know if I think I'm really good at things I do, but I don't want to feel like I'm super special.
No.
I want to see somebody else do it.
You need more people. Like you need. I think you can add this what we're talking about before to this discussion for the purpose of it because at the end of the day, nobody wants to watch a race with one horse.
There we go.
That's
there
not
we go.
entertaining.
Yeah, you need the legend to beat the beast. You, know what I mean?
need an ecosystem where you
Yes.
kind of have
Multiple players. Yeah, man. I don't want to be the only
anybody
person.
who wants to be alone in anything is crazy.
Yeah,
You
no,
just
you
lost it.
You need.
I
You
know,
need.
I know some guys. Randy know some guys. They're gonna want to hear that part.
You
What's
can't be.
Me
You
up
can't
my-
be. So,
Me up a competition and da.
Ah,
So me
yes.
so my thing
yes,
is,
yes.
if
A long
I'm
convo we were having
Mailpack,
earlier.
I
Yeah.
want competitors.
Yes.
Here's why.
Viability.
Viability, but here's the other thing. Your competitors reach a market I can't reach.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause if I try to reach that market, I'm gonna lose my core market.
There we go. But I want the market to be served
You want
nonetheless.
the market to be served because at the end of the day, the more people buying online, chances are somebody may come across me.
Yeah. And as long as I keep my quality high, every time somebody's pissed elsewhere,
They'll come to me.
they're gonna come to me.
And even if they don't, you have more people buying online because remember the market penetration is only 6%.
Yes, that is a major thing that people don't think of. In terms of a long-term buy,
94% of people are not investing or buying through this means.
that's true.
Which therefore says to me that until we get to like 60, we have a long way to go.
Yep.
That is true.
That market's going to grow.
Right now, everybody should be trying to build this market because you know why? If that happens, you will have pressure on supermarkets that may become warehouses. Supermarkets may be cut in half,
Yes.
but then you're going to have more delivery trucks on the road.
There we go. Yes. And people going to buy more. People spend more.
Or there may be
Yep.
more depots all over the place where people could pick up close to their home or whatever. It's just different.
There has to be a solution, but there will be a solution that
There'll be a
involves
solution.
online purchasing.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that was very encouraging for me with a mail pack that's just listed. Same level with the AMG. Remember, AMG's main competitors are imported from Damrep, you know, so we are effectively funding rich Damrep guys, rich Costa Ricans, because they just have a line and they call it the Jamaica line, the Rain Navy line with the three colors on the box. That's what's going on in these places. So them can tell you every hit tune, you know, every new artist.
Everything because they have a
Because
top level view of Jamaica.
They have to know.
Yeah.
So that and these are the guys coming to the business hotels because they're like,
I
you
need to know what's
guys are
happening in my
doing
business.
25% of my revenue, so I have to
Yep.
protect my market.
Yeah, and not just 25% of my revenue because your revenue in Jamaica is higher profit. There's
course.
a better margin on the Jamaican products usually than exported product for the most part. And in Central America, they work on thin
So,
margins for
so
almost everything.
you've been a dance, and some foreign guy trying to dance to your girl, and you're like, big man, just back off. But then this is the guy who's doing all this business with a company in Jamaica, big company.
Tell us a story, Ryan.
No, I don't work. I don't go dance. And my wife, worse, don't go. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, that's it. That's where we are now as a nation. But the average person doesn't even realize that.
The simple guy you see on the
just
road.
be like, well, I'm different looking. You tell I come from.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
the girls, where I'm coming from, like, who them are?
Yep.
This is how opportunities pass us every day. And we don't even realize.
Without even realize that's 100% true.
You know what I mean?
100% true.
You
And that's
walk
at every level.
past, you walk past the opportunity.
And you don't
You're
know.
sovereign and you never know.
Yep. Somebody looking for something great, and it's at all levels, you know. It's not just at the heavy money level, it's at all levels. I talk to people all the time. I've said it on the podcast before. I love a nice small business or a small business person doing something on their own, really believe in it, really passionate, or them just want bill. If the only thing you need is money, I can help you find somebody who will give you money. But if you're passionate about your business is good, that will grow. And I love helping people like that. But I look like a simple youth too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I look like a simple little nerdy youth. They don't know nothing. So it's the same thing happen. It's the same thing happen all the time. You just get people missing opportunities without realizing they're missing opportunities and not realizing that the time has changed until things switch around.
Oh, got it. There's a guy, Beagle_19, who said, and this is to Ryan, what are the particular traits that a company should have before he decides to add them to his portfolio? If he is a value investor, how does he determine whether or not the stock is underpriced? Okay, so this for me. So I'm a value investor. How do I determine if a stock is underpriced or not? So I look at the stock relative to its peer group, firstly. Then I look, secondly, to the industry. And I look at the multiples in terms of price to earnings, fine. But I also look at price to book. I also look at debt to equity, so to speak. And then if I'm seeing a light debt load and then I look at revenue growth, chances are you may find the best companies, many of them tend to be aligned more or less. And then I go off the intangible of, do I like the product? And how long has the business been around? Those are the things I look at. I look at the quality of the management team. And lastly, I look at, is this company likely to be bought? That's just where I find myself at this point in life. When I get to, 5 billion, I may be like, well, it doesn't matter. But because at that point, you live off your dividends. Really, at that point, you don't really care. At that point, you
try and buy whole.
At that point, you really don't care, right? But for me, like, that pop matters, not the IPO pop, which to me is really small. I'm talking the 50,000 to 2.5 million pop. That's kind of what I'm about, because I'm not putting 50 grand in a stock. I mean, 50 grand is not out. 50 grand, it would be a moderate night out if it comes to that, like if we're out with clients or whatever. If you have dinner with 10 people, your bill is 50,000 or 100,000. It's really not.
You have dinner with how many people?
10 people.
10 people, 50 grand?
And that's like cheap.
That's a light bill. Yeah.
That's a light bill. So the point I'm making is really and truly.
Unless you're on Twitter. Unless you're on Twitter, then you go quarrel with people about the bills.
There are people like who appreciate that kind of talking, but then the others will say you're flexing or whatever. But if you really think about it,
no.
People at a certain stage really looking at themselves, they're like 50 grand, really and truly. If you can keep a certain amount in cash, it's not a lot of money.
That's a fact.
Worse now with $5,000 bills.
That's 370 US.
Like a man stick you up and him take 50 grand off you, but like, well, take it. I mean,
good luck.
No, don't stick me up. But
but
like, you know what I mean? It's not. But that could be $2.5 million. If you have $2.5 million and you're in cash, you could be arrested.
Yes. Well, if you spend more than $1 million Jamaican.
If you have $1 million,
cash.
if you have $1 million cash in, you can be arrested.
Yes. Not if you have it on you, but if you spend it. But I get what you're saying. You put yourself in that situation,
right? Yeah.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, so we kind of see the stages of this thing. So I'll be like, that's how I'd frame it.
All right. Well, as you said that, I mentioned here, so I need to give you a beat up because it's very I need to beat you.
Who want to beat me up?
Big up.
I hope that answered the question.
Big up at _hitlist. Who say Dominic Bell, who say, he loves the podcast. A big up, thank you for that, Dom.
That's my brethren. What
man. Hold on, man. I want to hear you say, I need to tell Ryan, say, one, him love the episode, Ryan, but two, tell him the company to talk about, say, him not look at 20 or 30%, because to him, the first time he did it and he made a 20 or 30%, it was such a huge thing to it that it really pushed the love in him. And then him listen to the podcast and hear Ryan talk about, I'm not investing on 20, 30%. He's like, what? He felt kind of put down. So, Dominic, I delivered the audio box to him for you. So,
well, me and Dominic spoke. So, here's the thing, though. Like, my thing is very simple. So, I said to people, like, it's great. But 20% of 50 grand is $10,000. If you go CPJ for breakfast for a week, you probably spend 10 grand.
For a week?
Every day for a week.
There's somebody listening laughing right now because I said to her that.
Or like 2 weeks.
10 grand is one red bones. That's how I said to her.
Yeah, that is 10 grand.
Yeah.
But if you double 50, that's a lot different story.
Yes.
So I'm trying to say to people to raise the bar, because I'm saying that it's like you start a business. Nobody's starting a business, leaving their stable job. Their wife or husband may be like, boy, I'm trusting you, but I'm not sure, but we'll go along with this. For 20 or 30%. Because remember, in the end, you still have to live, you still have kids to take care of, you still have your mother to take care of, your old man to take care of. You still have all of these variables at play. You're doing it for 20,000%.
True, definitely.
You're doing a Peter Thiel Facebook 500,000, that's $1 billion in 10 years. You're not trying to make your 500,000 $1 million. Okay? I mean, if you have 500 grand to put in a startup, then it don't matter. That's kind of the context that's coming from, because I don't do the best job of like filling in the blanks, and I accept that. I'm kind of straightforward, and I mean, yes, I know that leaves room for misinterpretation or whatever, but
You can't also.
I
fill in
can't
too many
fill
blanks.
in
Yeah.
every blank either, because then I just spend my time explaining myself. And
Yeah.
I'm not very big on explaining myself, but Dominic's my brethren like in real life, so I'll say that because it's a friend. So, but generally speaking, I mean, remember when I said, and this is very good that you brought this up. No, remember when I said when I started, I would invest and use the money to pay my credit card bill in US.
Yeah, that's true. And it helped you at the time, no?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And
It may have been a
can't
while back, and I was big on it, but and the day you come to realize that the young guys nowadays, there's levels to this thing. I'm not saying there's levels, I'm just saying there's stages, and you transition. But you can't be. It's like a guy Bridget linked me this week and said, "Yo, I have 500,000 mail pack. What should I do?" And he's like, "I'm like, hold it for a long time."
It's
He's like,
500,000 units?
units. I think he must be a key partner or something. And I was like,
okay.
he's like, should I sell it? I was like, if it hits 250, I'm like, Bridget, but you got 500,000 for 500 grand. You're going to sell it for 250 and make, it's 1.25 million.
Then what?
How does that 750 grand change your life? And I know who you are. Your watch is more than 750 grand.
Oh God, don't say watch on this.
So
podcast.
how does that change your life? Yeah, fuck off.
Hold on.
I've been going for a while. So.
Yeah, and I'm going
We'll
to switch the flow a
We'll have
little.
to talk about, so let's keep it going.
I'm going to switch the flow. I'm going to go with one of these questions, and then I'm going to...
Yeah, let's do it.
I want you to tell me about the future. And we'll throw it around that night.
Yes,
One of the questions.
do it, man.
Long talk, long episode. If you guys don't like a long episode, I'm so sorry. We're going to talk about a lot of companies, a lot of the things. No, and I'll start off again with one of these questions. This guy at Nearby Bushes on Twitter. It's a cool name. At Nearby Bushes asks Ryan, what can the country do to attract the Elons and Larry Pages of the world? Give it more context. Given Jamaica's current business landscape, what sectors are being underserved and could do with some more players? So it's two different questions.
Right.
And a third one, would an app that allows you to see your utility bills in one place be a good idea? That last one sounds like him building something.
Yeah, he's building something. So build it. That's the answer to the last question.
Which
But
also ties into the first one.
right. So what would Jamaica do to attract the
Elons
Larry
and the
and the
Pages
Elons
and
and
the
the
Google and the
Sergeys?
Tesla guys.
I mean, the fact is, it's not so much what would Jamaica do to attract them, but what would Jamaica do to encourage them or develop them, because Jamaica has so many personalities of this nature. But then it's a thing of, there's so many. So I used to make music, 10 plus years ago, and all of these guys are wearing jacket and ties and going to jobs now. But if they were in America, they've been making music in the garage. So the question is better asked, how does one create an environment that encourages these guys to pursue their dreams? They may have to work a job at night to be able to pay their bills, to keep the lights in that same garage on. But Jamaica's never going to attract a Larry Page when Google is where it is. He owns 6% of Google by himself. You're talking billions and billions and billions and billions of
More
US.
money
They
than
could
countries.
technically buy
Some
the whole
countries.
country.
Yep.
But what you want is to be able to encourage that person when they have the mind of a hustler and not discourage that mentality. Because what we have now is art and hustlers, but we don't have art of people doing it formally. Because the fact of the matter is, let's just call it what it is. A lot of our tech entrepreneurs are more focused on being personalities than business people. You know what I mean? Like
They
they're on
want to be
page
seen
2,
as
they're on the
Elon.
social pages, but are they building businesses with models that can stand up to the scrutiny of international analysts? I'm not so sure. Because the fact is there's more cash than assets locally seeking a home. But yet still you don't have these opportunities developing to the point where they attract bona fide money. So again, as I said, I think Jamaica would do well to like encourage this ecosystem, to encourage the entrepreneur to develop. But as I've said constantly, we have the exit mechanism now via the junior market. What we don't have, or what we do have developing, is a venture capitalist type,
Sort
again,
of thing.
ecosystem.
Yeah,
or
we see people jumping into it now.
environment, or that embryo or that incubator. But we're getting there, and the fact is it will never be perfect, because if it was a perfect environment, Google will never be developed to the point where Google is.
You know, I saw a tweet from Chris Berry where he mentioned
Big up Chris Berry.
Big up
every
Chris
time.
Mandatory.
There's tremendous opportunity for Jamaica to create high-paying digital infrastructure jobs for Jamaicans instead of importing these basic services.
Definitely. And I think
Yeah.
he's spot on, because if you look at how Chris operates, not exposing my bias, considering I started my career in Maybury, but the fact is he has embraced technology as a way of making his business more efficient. And I think that that's a testimony to the fact that the reality exists. There are opportunities to be more efficient via technology. In fact, one of the concepts I've come up with recently is that convenience is a commodity. If you can sit at your desk and order food, you save yourself an hour on the road, an hour of gas, an hour of AC, an hour of sweating, an hour of settling down, be going on the road and coming back, an hour of the rogue taxi drivers that every Jamaican in the corporate area certainly faces. So convenience is a commodity, because if you can go in your office and not have to leave unless you're a salesperson, that is technology making your life easier. What will that inevitably create? More efficiency. In my business, I sit down, I can send a WhatsApp to a person. I say to them, send me an email, and they confirm it by email. That's a trade done. That could be $1 million. Not to me, but overall, that's generated by virtue of the trade without lifting a finger, technically speaking. I'm not physically going and doing something for $1 million.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, yes, you do your work and your research and whatever, but you're running your business from a cell phone and the keys on a laptop. That's kind of how technology is supposed to make our lives easier, and I think we can still do a better job at that in Jamaica. If you think
much
about
better job.
auditors doing a stock check, right?
Something I have done.
You've done it.
Yes.
I haven't done it, but if you are doing with a barcode versus checking a bar scanner rather versus than checking a physical paper list, if you think about the risk with paper, you can lose the paper, water can wet it up, fire can burn it up, but if it's scanned electronically, it goes to the cloud, so it'll never be lost. So your risk and consequently your insurance is a lot lower in that instance than if you're insuring paper and you're paying to store paper. So technology changed the way you view everything. In fact, technology changed the way you view car parks, because you say, well, why not stack the cars on top of each other rather than using valuable land space that's coming in short supply? Because if you look at New York, there's no bag of car parks in New York if you don't drive. You take the taxi or a bus or subway or something, because land is too valuable. So really and truly, where we'll be moving towards is car parks, in terms of flat car parks, will be non-existent or obsolete in 5 years.
5 years?
If not shorter. You have
mean-
to stack your cars on top of each other.
Oh, you mean in Kingston?
Yeah, Kingston.
Oh, definitely. What people saw with Price Smart? Yeah.
Have like a 10-story car park, but
Yeah.
you never have like parcels and parcels of land. Because if you think about it, if you make, let's just for argument's sake, you make $1,000 US per hour from a car park. Contrast that with a factory that's working an hour with 40 people on the floor. It's $40,000 per hour, for argument's sake.
Yep.
Which one makes more business sense? That's how you get productivity on 5 and 4.
Man, bring it back to the
man,
politics,
drop it,
yo,
man.
boy.
That's how you get there. So we need a more efficient infrastructure, and I think that's what the guys are pushing towards. The guys, Leachin and Nigel, etc. To get in there. But the reality is that was not part of our reality before. So I don't not 5 and 4 because it's part of a vision. If you don't have a vision, you will never get there. You know?
Bro, the goal is the free part of everything, right?
Sure.
If your goal is too small, it tells me that you're limiting the part that you don't have to pay
Sure.
for. Yeah, man, pick a big goal and go to it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch heavy politics,
And
but I'll say
well,
straight.
if you do well while failing at that goal, then
That's it.
Yo, okay, I'll play devil's advocate in this case. Slight politics. Sorry. Politics is the lifeblood of the people. The JLP did say 5 and 4. Big goal. Some people can say, and I'll play devil's advocate and say that they failed in that regard. Look at what the failure has been. 1.2% growth. 1.2 is so tiny unless you've been paying attention to growth over the years to know that we're not used to getting that. Like, so we aim for the stars and we fell. We don't even fall on the clouds. We fall on the ground, but we were below the ground before.
And identify your shortcomings and you do whatever is required to like correct
build
it.
up.
And
Yeah.
that to me is speaks to ambition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, companies set budgets. I mean, yes, you may exceed it, but you're going to increase it every year, right?
Yeah.
Until you get to where you want to get to.
Because they set big goals, and if you met the
That's a
goal
fact.
1 year,
But
next year you have to beat it.
Who can tell me a goal outside of 5 and 4? Pothole free by
You
2003.
we have to edit the whole of this out of the podcast.
Like that's the last slogan anybody can remember. And it's not about pro JLP or whatever, but I'm just simply saying we all need to set goals for ourselves as persons and a country. And try and hold ourselves to it. That's just the reality. So I'm just simply saying, as a sign of our maturing democracy, we have set goals for ourselves, and you may hit some, you may miss it, but at least you know why you're missing. So you fix that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to close a deal now that's been 5 years in the making, and I can speak about this. That is, will increase water supply in the corporate area by 10 million gallons a day. It's taking 6 months. It hasn't closed yet. The deal was actually confirmed before financing partners came in 3 years ago. We still haven't closed it.
What has taken so long?
The whole thing to close off. The money is there, everything is there. But it just goes to show, which is why I made my tweet the other day that said the Jamaican economy will grow 6% a year if we had an efficient public sector. So Leachin knows what he's talking about. Because Leachin has turned a loss-making Jamaican institution into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise has made him a billionaire. These are points we can't overlook.
yeah, agreed.
I like that you touch infrastructure. I know people want me to ask immediately. I think we might have asked you before. Trans Jamaica.
Sure.
What do you feel about it? I know it's too early to say.
No, I think you know
about
what? It's a step in the right direction, and it represents a great opportunity for Jamaicans to own a part of the country. I think if they lay out proper plans for the future in the prospectus, that it would encourage growth investors also. But at the very least, I think once it's profitable, dividend investors will be encouraged.
Yeah.
So I think it's decent.
I like that. You're not worried about debt? The
No.
debt of it?
No, I would imagine that they have that covered, but again, one can only
speculate
approximate. Yeah, exactly.
until you see the
Speculate.
numbers.
Yeah, there you go.
Of course. Well, you touched something nice in that you spoke about just what would build the future. So that's something that I want to touch on too.
Sure.
Because people hearing this right now, people listening to this, it is 2 weeks to the end of the year.
Sure.
Highlights for the year. What have you liked so far?
I mean, I've liked the number of new companies that have come to market, the emerging industries. That was very encouraging. I was encouraged by the number of new home owners I would have seen as a result of the government removing some of the
Impediments.
I just think
in the way.
impediments to
Yeah.
business activity. It's just unnecessary.
Tax break was amazing.
Yeah, and I think,
Yeah.
like raising the
budget.
threshold. And I mean, those things, relatively speaking, to me are like low hanging fruit because at the end of the day, home ownership is important. And that's not at odds with what I said before, which is how a lot of people can have a one track mind and say, boy, you're saying that a home will not make the best money, but a home is where you rest your head. A home is not, Your pillow is not what you expect to make. You're not going to use your pillow to pay your bills in 50 years.
That's right.
You rest your head on your pillow.
Strong point, you know.
You know what I mean?
Strong
A lot of
point.
people overlook that point. I think that, where they rest their head is where they're going to pay their bills from in X time. No, you pay your bills elsewhere. Your pillow is where you rest your head. Anyway, long story short, I'm very encouraged by some of the steps I've seen taken by this administration, which, is not a solo effort, but at the end of the day, everybody benefits. At the end of the day, nobody really cares who was in the past, right? The people care about who did it. So I'm very encouraged by the steps I've seen taken in the maturing of the Jamaican economy. When I start to see infrastructure, I feel like infrastructure leads the way in terms of developing economies. If you can't get to an area comfortably, you will never experience growth or economic activity in that area sufficiently to drive GDP numbers upwards. When I see groundbreaking for St. Thomas on the South Coast Highway, I'm very encouraged because, one, yes, there's opportunities for investors, but two, it opens up other areas of the islands of commerce. And that to me says NCB, Scotiabank, Wisynco that distribute products in that side of the island will now have an easier mechanism to get the products there.
Yep.
So that all these steps taken are very encouraged, and I think government needs to recognize its role in driving economic growth. And that, simply put, is infrastructure, not in terms of owning a private business. So by that token, I like the Wisynco divestment. I did not buy Wisynco myself. Wigton divestment. Others bought Wigton. I did not myself, but it's a step in the right direction. It signals the right thing. So all in all, I think there's a recognition by the government and by the powers that be that of their role in the whole bigger picture. Because we can only go as far as the government goes, and I think any business person will acknowledge that.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I realized I skipped out one of the things that he asked, but you kind of touched on it when he said, given Jamaica's current business landscape, what sectors are being underserved and could do with some more players?
I think that's a very good question, actually. Finance is saturated. I think
Oversaturated.
you can never have enough manufacturing entities. I think there's going to be some. I think real estate is saturated too. But I think that shading in the gray areas, the white, I think that's kind of where you're getting opportunities. The logistics. I think you have the
business is built on top of it.
e-commerce.
Yeah. Funny enough, that's such a big one.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough entertainment options in Jamaica. We really don't.
We don't have enough entertainment venues.
We have a couple of bars. We have the artists, so we don't really have anything. No. You can't really, if you, let's say you're on vacation, you're staying in Kingston, you have some money in your pocket.
Sure.
Monday night, what are you doing?
No.
Yep.
When I host, there's a bridge in New York who I'm doing business with. He's Eastern European, and we're going to close a deal. And he's like, he look on the pictures and be like, yo, there's enough pretty girl in Jamaica I want to come visit, right?
That's a big fact.
That's not undeniable, right?
That's a fact. Yeah.
But then he's going to be like, yo, where are we going to go? I'm like, why? I don't.
Yeah, we don't really have
Red Bones has an option when Red Bones lock, and then you have the R, but then where is there? Why can't there be? But you see, that's a function of accessibility. Because there's no reason why you can't have a spot in Clarendon. There's no reason why you can have 4 spots in Clarendon. There's no reason why you can't have 5 spots in Portmore, 10 in Kingston. We're here.
Full of people. It's a full city.
We've been here for hours, right? The listeners may not know. And then we may be like, yo, why we can't go have a drink and listen to music somewhere till 2:30?
Exactly. Exactly, just to chill.
There's nowhere.
Yeah.
So we've been working for all this time. Fine. You guys just coming from work. But it's like, we don't know where to go. So all this up, and we have disposable income, but there's nowhere to go. And it's what? Thursday night? Thursday's a new Friday.
Yep.
Every Friday night, everywhere is full, fine. But then economic development means places get fuller earlier.
Yep. And then you can't have the same everything
No.
all the time. Yeah.
No.
I love Jangas. Big up Jangas.
I love Jangas.
But
it's a new spot, but then
it's
where
just a
am I
bar.
gonna go on
It's a cool bar. It's a good bar, but it's just a bar at the end of the day.
If you have all these business hotels full every week, you have to have somewhere. to carry the people. Because when
entertainment at night,
I go to Sandals a week every year, and I mean, as a Jamaican, the entertainment is not what it could be for me as a Jamaican. So I go there to relax. Sure, a foreigner may be like, it's fabulous, and it is.
because they don't know.
But it's not the same as going and hearing a third world who is just in between tours live for a night.
And that's a big deal.
When I was in Greece, I was in Athens in June. Third world filled, a 20,000 seat or attendee venue, audience venue.
Same third world.
Third world.
That we
Junior
walk
Don was
past
there
in-
and fine,
in
but it
General
was
Foods
a
here.
sick crowd.
Yeah,
So I'm saying to myself, well,
I've seen it.
why couldn't I go and hear an agent Sasko at somewhere on a Tuesday night? My brethren's from New York. We close a deal, and he's like, let's go have some fun. We made some money. Let's go enjoy. I like a peace side.
Nothing.
So we're losing out on that. So entertainment. So my thing is, as we talk more, is entertainment, culture. Those two areas are like malnourished.
Yeah, heavily, and I think it's
Heavily
coming.
malnourished. And entertainment, culture, sport. Those three things, like we should be able to go and like watch a nice ball game or a 2020 cricket match in a comfortable setting.
Yeah, and do something at night. That's true. That's true. I think there's a whole heap to be done.
Business
there.
wise, we're good, but like the nightlife part, we're still trying to find our feet.
And there's a lot of opportunity there for regular Jamaicans. if they
Definitely.
just take that up. Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's go even deeper. There's no real taxi service in Mobay.
Oh yes.
Outside of Kingston, there's no real hardcore
And
taxi service.
The taxis down there shark people easily just because of that.
Yeah. And it's Mobay. What are you going to do?
And then the thing is, remember, Mobay is like two cities in one because you have Rose Hall, etc., and you have Freeport, etc.
Yeah.
But then you have this one strip of road. So then the game changer is when you have the bypass.
Yeah.
So that's gonna like people won't even recognize Mobay anymore because then now you're gonna have all of this stuff popping up around it. It's just gonna shift the dynamics drastically. So now you hear the government now speak about, and this may have been plans in the past, I don't even remember, but talking about like bypassing major towns to allow for like thorough, relatively easy or smooth passage.
Yeah.
Without creating any
the problem within the
disturbance.
towns. And it's something that I noticed in America. I never thought about that we have in Jamaica. That we do it in Jamaica, they don't do it in America. So let's say there's a somewhere in Kingston, Pembroke.
Yeah.
Nice community. I won't use Pembroke. I will use Spain.
Sure.
Somewhere in Spanish Town. All right. Let's say you're talking about in Eltham.
Yep.
Eltham itself is just a dormitory community. If you want to go to the bank, you have to go into the town of Spanish Town.
Yep.
If you want to know something big, you have to go into Kingston.
Yep.
Everywhere in Florida you can go. Wherever there's a small town, there are little things that are around it. There's a couple of banks around it.
Yep.
There's a couple of food places. There's some night food places. There's some bars around it. And they serve just that community.
Yep.
In Jamaica, we have a going to the town culture and then everything is dormitory.
Go back. So
Yeah, but we need to break out of that because there's true economic growth in that. And I don't necessarily want to have to go in the town.
Yeah. As you say, convenience where you drive.
That's a convenience, is a commodity because
Yeah.
by right, if you may have, you may have a younger brother who
Two.
just graduate university or two, and then I look at small work for a few years and go work in the neighborhood bank.
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
Get to understand the infrastructure of a financial institution, and probably after 2 years, I'm say bigger bank call them say, "Yo, come to Spanish Town," or
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Portmore, a larger
right.
thing where you have an incubator system that's developing talent rather than them sit down at home, kick stone, and gangsters that try to recruit them or say,
Which is right,
whatever. That's the reality, right?
I think so. I can add to it. I think maybe the BPO sector can move more now into its second level of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not just answering phones now. It's creating whatever.
Yeah.
It's true.
Actual
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. And that has happened to some extent. We know
Yeah, it
that.
has happened to us,
Yeah.
yeah.
But more.
Can be to a greater extent.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot more. I think there's a lot more. I don't know that space very well, but from what I've seen some measure of development. But I think there's a lot more, particularly at the entry level space.
Yeah. And there's stuff. It's the same accounting almost everywhere in the world,
Yeah.
So that's something that can be, and the multinationals have done that, shared services, but you can start a BPO, a finance BPO, an accounting BPO. I'm surprised nobody has done it yet. Me personally, I like when people concentrate on the local.
You know, we have a friend that was thinking of starting that though.
Something in the finance space.
Accounting BPO.
Oh, word.
Just because he's in VC space, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he wants to serve the
Local people.
local people at early stage companies, but
Yeah.
they don't a big problem for those people is the books.
Yeah.
So he would just do that for them. So they take off that load, so I make sure the books are good, so they don't have to worry about that. Since when they worry about that too much, at certain
They can't
stages,
concentrate on their
they can't do
business.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's sort of opportunities. I am so concentrated on local. And you know what keep pushing me to it? With Cinco, just start them exporting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at 1%. Like, they haven't even really, like...
Touched anything
They're-
really.
The fact that they were going to go hard into exporting, and the local market could just eat everything.
Yeah, local market was like, guys, you can't export when
Yeah.
you can't
So we
meet
have
your
enough
demand.
to do it.
You
Yeah,
can't
they literally
meet
don't
your
have
demand.
enough to sell.
And they're growing their sales channels every year.
Something similar, Carib Cement. When Carib Cement said they're going to pull back from
Well,
their
Venezuela.
export and go in and just sell to export market, will be feeding their local market instead. To me, that was an opportunity. If we, why not do both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the capacity for it. And granted, the export business wasn't a large part of their revenue, but still, do both.
Do it if you can, but finding it in international space can be hard sometimes. You see what happened with Blue Power?
Yeah.
Yeah, how you feel about that?
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Power had been meandering along for a while, so I mean, I should not have been overly surprised, but disappointing.
Yeah.
In
The CARICOM thing, right? Yeah.
with them losing
I mean,
the tariff.
It
Or we
doesn't.
facing?
It doesn't really surprise me in light of all the steps they've taken recently, which makes sense to like manage their exposure. But then the main CEO again has come out in a sense, right? Like he's lowered his exposure. Definitely, he's out of lumber depot. So
What else you like, Danai?
What else I like to come to the market?
Yeah. Something nice. What would you like to see? What would you like to see happen? Ryan's touched on mergers and acquisitions.
I would love to see Caramed list.
I would love to see Caramed list, but I don't know if he'll ever list.
I don't know. They just I mean, you may
Yeah,
say
they
you
did
heard it
something
here
right now.
first, but they just restructured into a group. So let's see.
Oh, they did.
It was
okay,
announced.
that's
It was
nice.
announced, man.
Yeah, it was announced. I did hear that.
Yeah, I've been into the
Caramed
market
group is a
recently.
new thing. I think that's
Telling sign.
It's well, I don't even want to load up anybody's business, but I have no insider knowledge, so I'm speaking objectively. But yeah, I think they have a good shot. Yeah.
I like that. I really want them to come to market.
It's
I
a
like
good-
when Jamaican
It's a good
companies.
look. It's a
Yeah,
good look.
very, very good look. And that's a real
And
homegrown company.
They need to list.
Yeah.
They need to list.
Yeah. But need to meaning there's no more.
like just in terms of the future,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want hit outside of Jamaica. I think that's a good thing. I don't want to bore the people too long. I've loved having this. Anything you want to tell the people, Ryan? It's the last time they're hearing you for a year. They'll hear you next year because I'm going to bring you to come on at least once a quarter.
I mean, it's just very simple. Like, at the start of the whole thing was said, to think about investments in a much bigger scale and just putting out some money and using it to buy next week's groceries. When you start a business or when you plant a tree, you're not doing it to be able to fill the belly for a week. You're doing it. So I would hope with the possibility that the tree will provide fruit for you for a long time. Your investments and the potential to do that. It's just very important that the perspective is correct. And I leave it with that. I'm rarely the type to leave people with things specific because everybody's experience is different. And I really try not to make this about me. But I said to you, you're planting a tree. And the same expectations one has when planting a tree is what they should approach the investing with. So I would leave us with that.
All right, I like that. And anything you want to tell Ryan? Because we're not seeing him again until next year.
When you see me, it's me not sitting behind a microphone.
Yeah, but as far as the people concerned, you don't exist unless you're audience. But yeah, big up for that. Yo, people, this podcast actually owes a lot to Ryan because our most popular episodes for a long time actually were Ryan's. I want to say it still is. People generally listen to it. There's a popular episode and they listen to the track 1. So big up David for that because David is on that episode. But yeah, Ryan has, and I'm going to say it live so I can see right now. Ryan, you're the Ryan. You might who that. So since we've been doing this podcast the entire time, I want to make sure I get the stats completely correct. Why is this thing showing me the wrong thing? Top played stats. No, because you have every episode you do, people love it more and more and more. I hear somebody tell me say, no disrespect to Kwame, obviously. Much respect to the whole JMB team and of course Kwame for being on the show that time, but they're like, yo, this is such a great episode, which it was, but you can't top this. I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. You guys are out of your mind. Not that episode wasn't bad, but yeah, you have no idea what's coming next year, but trust me, it's really good. It's really, really good. So yeah, in terms of our top episodes, people really like that Kwame one, but the reason why they like it also is because a lot of them know about it because they listen to the episodes with 5 Soleil, which is right there. Episode 9 and episode 5, right? The third most popular. Money Talk.
This one's gonna be big though.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope people like it. I hope people like it.
This one's gonna be long.
This one is going to be long, so it's for the hardcore. Yeah, because funny enough, we don't really... Christmas gift, completely. Christmas gift, yeah, man, completely.
So somebody said Ryan couldn't top them.
Yeah. Let me scroll down. Let me scroll down to our...
No, come on, man.
9th most popular episode.
Them guys looking attention, man. I mean, brethren's here, so I love saying it, but come on, man.
The counter-attacking. Like the episodes get overshadowed.
Them guys look at new formation next year, you know.
Yo, say never want Mourinho come coach your side.
Really?
Yeah, man, him did fight it out the entire time, man.
New formation.
Yeah,
my friends, so I work with him.
Yeah,
my
veteran, man. Big up certain people.
Big up.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work with him, friend and company. Big up himself.
People that has been earning season, I hope you enjoy it. We enjoyed it. That you want to tell the people?
Make more gains in the year school done, so make the gains they can make for the rest of the year, and then look to next year for more gains.
Yes, sir.
Always on the market.
There we go.
That's a good look.
There we go. I'm kicking myself out and I need to be business-like, so I will throw my last ad in there. By the time you're hearing this, you can go to evermickle.com/store. You will see 2 things in there. 2 gift certificates. You want to buy it for yourself for next year, you want to buy it for your loved ones or whoever. Gift certificates are in there for you to purchase. All it does, it gives you access to any grower session, any grower beginner session that I hold in 2020. That's all. So it's a gift for somebody. The gift of financial literacy. I'm trying to spread it to everybody. So you can go in there, you can buy it. There won't be any grower in December because I need to sleep. But come back next year. Come back next year. We're hitting the road hard. We're really hitting the road hard. I'm trying to push it to as many people as I can. So you want to buy yourself a Christmas gift? It's on the website, evermickle.com/store. Or if you don't want to buy it for yourself, you want to buy it for a loved one, you want to give your child the gift of it, you can buy the gift certificate on site. You're hearing this right now, it's right there. And what you'll get is access to any grower session for the next year. So you know you're going to be broke in January. Everybody broke for the 6 months of January. Buy it in December when you get the money. And you're broke, you can come to class and learn how to make the money for next year. Trust me.
That way the next January.
There we go. That's the point. Can't broke again.
I'm not trying to rain about these guys parade, but we'll have a special event coming up where you'll see the 3 of us in person in February.
Hear this, man.
Working out the details, but I'm make you guys know about it.
Definitely
there. It's a good cause. So
there.
You probably won't get many chances like that. So listen.
That's true. That's true. Because trust me, guys, as much as I talk on this, I keep my talking to this couple of tweets sometime. We're talking less, or we're doing more profit for next year. Sure. Give them another gift. Newsletter. Ryan has a great newsletter. It is private, guys. If you want to pressure somebody to go on it, pressure Ryan. But you don't pressure me. I can't help you get on it. Having said that, however, I will be doing a newsletter next year. So look out for it. Guys, don't ask me when it is. You will know because you know I'm going to push it once it come out there, right? You will know when it's launched. Not as in-depth as his own. Not as in-depth as Ryan's own in terms of all the places Ryan touches, because Ryan touches more than just Jamaica. But if you care about the JC, if you care about your local money, you're going to hear from me. You're going to get that newsletter from me. There'll be good stuff there. Look out for it. And of course, the guy who does the BAMcast, the one from JPN, Jamaica Podcast Network, who just load me up and say, yo, JPN, to make sure that we're here. If you have a podcast you want to do, hear the free ad. I'm going to charge him. You have a podcast you want to do, if you believe you have always had a podcast, if you have a good following, if you want to make some money from podcasting, JPN, the Jamaica Podcast Network, you can Martin, tell me anything. I don't want to shout out for you.
At Martin Pagan, at BAMcast, it will be found in the description.
There we go. It will be in the description. It's at Martin Pagan on Twitter or at the BAMcast. There'll be a link in the show notes. If you want to do a podcast, this is a guy to talk to. He takes all the stuff out of your hand. Come with your content, come with your people. He'll get it done for you. Thank you, guys. This has been earnings season. Always happy to have Ryan here, friend of the show. I'm at RT Row.
And I'm at H&I.
You want to get the people your tag again, sir? Mr. G2K. Mr. G2K.
G2K president. That's me. Big up.
Here's man.
Soleil. All right. I get on that one too. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. And listen out for us next week, every week. Thank you. It's been earnings season. Boom.
All right.